is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of After Ahsoka, where we are going to be talking about this week's episode 7. Sorry, I am late as usual to the show in record time this time. I think we were like 9 or 10 minutes late. Oh, it's been a day. I woke up, wasn't feeling great. Wasn't sure if I was actually going to make it. Thought about canceling, but I caught a second wind, had a fever, feeling pretty good at this moment. So we're going live. Guys, what's going on? Appreciate you all being here.
Just don't give that shit to any of us, okay?
Yeah.
Don't pass it through the mic.
Yeah, I don't need your herpes. That's fine.
By the way, everyone, it was my fault we were late. Evil's being very generous by not mentioning
wasn't
that,
your
but
fault.
I had some technical difficulties. So, but
No, it's
happy
fine.
to. We're all here together.
No, we
I'm
blame
always
host.
like five. I always wait 5 minutes after, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a pretty busy day. An interesting episode, I feel like, that we're going to be talking about. Before we get started, Cage, I know you haven't bought anything. Still
You
waiting
skip
on his
right
very
over.
first
Yep.
Hot
Go
Toys
ahead.
figure.
Yep, we're good.
Waiting on his very first Hot
Check
Toys
in on
figure.
April.
Clone Wars
Yeah.
Palpatine. I'm just going to keep saying it every time you come on the show. I was waiting on that
Yep,
Clone Wars
my only one.
Yep. The only
say
one.
How
that
that goes,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
We'll
like
see.
to go. I could like to go around and see if anybody picked up anything new lately. So Jedi, we'll start with you. Any new pickups?
Yeah, I know I wasn't on last week, but I will say I've been a good boy. I been sticking to my guns, and Steve, you've been kind of a good influence on me as well. You know, you've kind of said that you're without counting pre-orders, you're not trying to buy anything to the end of the year. And I'm trying to do that too, trying to catch up on the summer that was. But I did get the Peacemaker in, which was a pre-order, canceled a couple weeks ago, and then I just got it day one. So I don't count that as just buying a figure. So that one was
Love
accounted
that figure,
for.
dude.
But I
It's
haven't
so
gotten
cool.
anything else in September. So it's just been Peacemaker. I mean, so from going to like 9 or 10 in August to just one, I'm pretty proud of that. So yeah, just Peacemaker. Did a review. It's a really fun figure. I was actually my buddy was over last night, and he was watching the disastrous Packer game with me, and we decided to look at the Peacemaker intro and then some highlights, and he was laughing his ass off. So he's gonna watch that. So
Oh, he hasn't seen it.
no, he hasn't seen it. So he's got 2 little girls as well, but his are like I think 3 and like 6 months. So he pretty much just watches Coco Melon and Trolls and all that stuff.
Oh God,
Dude, that Peacemaker
But yeah,
intro is the only
it's-
intro I don't skip.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yep. I
I'm
watch
so
it every
happy to have
single
it.
time on the show. I watch the intro.
Yeah, I want to
Cage,
watch
have you seen
the
Peacemaker?
season 1 again.
No.
So
I might
Yeah, I haven't
rewatch.
watched
I
it.
might watch it again at some point.
It's really good.
so funny.
It's so good.
The
John.
banter
was-
is just great.
Yeah.
I was so surprised, because I wasn't like, I need a Peacemaker show in my life, but it's really good.
Yeah. Well, Graham, thanks for being here, man. We missed you last week. With that being said, Mike, any new figure pickups lately, or any new things that you've, ordered, or
Oh, God.
are you continuing along the path of buying a bunch of figures?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with a little advice for Cage. After the stream, just put your order in for Module Case. Just do it now. I know you only have one figure coming, but just, in a year from now or 2
Prepare
years
yourself.
from now, when your cases arrive, you'll have a ton of figures to put them.
I got you.
But no, yeah. So I pre-ordered RoboCop, and I pre-ordered. What else did I just get? I told you earlier, Steve. The Grand Inquisitor. I pre-ordered.
Yeah, Grand Inquisitor, nice.
Yeah. So
This
there's
is gonna be a
two.
cool figure.
Yeah, the Bat Pod arrived last week, broken, so I had to send that back.
Oh no, dude, you've been
it's
having
actually-
bad luck.
I know, dude. I usually have bad luck with things that I buy, but yeah, they're replacing. It's already on its way, so all good. Yeah, that's it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'll make it right. They'll make it right for you.
Oh yeah.
I've got, since last show, I guess I did get like this Echo and Hunter in, because Pop Culture had a crazy deal going on, basically a BOGO. It's basically like a buy one get one free, Echo and Hunter. So they are down over here in the corner. You can see them right here with Crosshair. So, I wasn't even going to get into the Bad Batch, but ended up getting Crosshair. When he came out, when they revealed him, I was like, dang, okay, this is going to push me to get the Bad Batch. And they're all really awesome. So I'll be excited to get Rekka and Tick. when they come out.
Yeah, Rekka and Teak are going to be
Yep.
amazing.
Teak.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially Rekka.
yeah. With that being said, guys, let's get into the chat here. Collector Joey's here first as usual. I don't know why he's saying as usual, but hello, Joey.
Yeah. Usually it's Spashka tries to beat him to it.
Yeah, yep. Reese is in the house. What's up, nerds? What is up, Reese? The mall fiend himself. Let's geek out. Yes. Oh,
I just got to
love
find a way to sneak
Love
it in.
it, man. Love it.
No, I
Yeah.
have to put myself in the show.
It's tradition now.
Yeah. No, a little bit different. We got an alternate shot of Hera to start the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Maybe Disney said you guys need to cool it for the first 6
You
episodes.
fucking simps.
It's in there a little bit. I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah. Do something else.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Ooh, Reese says, I'm a Wisconsin Bears fan. A man without a country. Wisconsin Bears fan.
Basically, without a team.
Basically without a team. It's a tough life.
Yeah.
Guys, let's go around the table, virtual table here, and give me your, just like we normally do, give me your impressions of the episode, what you would rate it out of 10. I'm interesting to hear what you guys have to say about this one, because I feel like there's a lot of mixed reviews on this episode this week going into the finale here. So Cage, let's start with you as our guest of the show again here. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I'll start with overall. I liked it. I did. I really did like this episode. Was it the best one of the season? Probably not, but that's also, I think, because we've had a lot of bangers this season. A lot of really good episodes. So overall, because I know we're going to get into it, I think obviously there were some spots that I might have done differently if I would have been the one in charge for some of this. But overall, I think it was a really, really good episode. A lot of plot development. Also, still a lot of lingering questions. I know we're going to get into Balin at some point. But overall, I thought about this all day, and I said, I'm going to do a 7 out of 10, but it's actually going to be an 8 out of 10 because we got Hera smack first thing at the beginning of the episode. So that's where I'm at.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, it's I feel like I've just been seeing a lot of differing opinions on this one. Jedi, what about you, man? What are your thoughts on the episode here?
Yeah, I liked it, but at the same time, I was disappointed because I think my expectations from previous episodes were just kind of climbing that mountain. It just kept getting more and more and more, and they were hitting us with, yeah, like you said, Cage, banger after banger, and this one felt more like, I hate to say it, but filler. Like if we really, if we think about it, the only thing that really happened in the grand scheme of things was, Ahsoka, arrived, but I didn't feel like a whole lot happened. And I know a lot of it's like setting up for the finale, but I don't know, maybe like I'm just so used to Game of Thrones and maybe some other good shows where the finale eve, if you will, is always like something huge happens, and then the finale takes it from there. And I didn't feel like that happened. I just kind of felt like it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I'd probably still give it 7.4.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. And it's better than a lot of other
7.4.
episodes I've
That's-
seen.
Yeah.
I just think my expectations got the better of me, and I was expecting more development than we actually got.
Yeah.
Is that where the
Story
0.4 comes from?
Yeah.
I'm confused
Okay.
by the 0.4.
Instead of a 7.5.
That's why there was the
7.5
pause,
seemed
yeah.
too high. I'm going 7.4. I went
Okay.
7 point, or like, I think my first 2 episodes was like 7.2, so 7.25.
I love how you're doing a point like 1 through 0.9 or whatever. Fair enough, man. Mike, what about you? Mike's going to be probably the lowest, I feel like, out of all of us on this episode.
4.
Yeah.
I'll say 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 5. How about
5?
that?
Ooh.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, for reasons we'll get into later. But I was just looking up the director, and I'm sure she's a wonderful person. Her name is Geeta Patel. Okay, and
I
I'm
was gonna
sure
rip her
she's
a new one.
She's a wonderful
no,
person.
I'm sure she's very talented. But here's the thing, like her resume is like the Mindy Project, fresh off the boat. So she's definitely worked in some high profile things, but nothing, no action sci-fi kind of stuff, right? So to throw her into this might have been a little unfair, and I don't blame her. If somebody offers me an opportunity to direct Star Wars, I take it, right? But I think she might have been a little fish out of water for this. That's how I felt, especially some of the action scenes, and we'll get into it. But it was a combination of the way that stuff was shot and some of the writing. So it's not all her fault. But yeah, this didn't really hit on all cylinders like some of the previous episodes for me.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
And
it's
what was
weird
your
that they.
rating?
A 5.
Five.
Strong 5. Yes.
Strong 5.
So that'd be
gonna
like a 5.75.
5.75,
Yes.
2.63798.
309.
There are numbers. There's a decimal with numbers after it. Exactly. Yeah, 5309. Yeah, 8675.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, man. Yeah, it's like we kind of talked about this in the past too. It's like it's interesting when like they just bring in all these different directors for one show. Like there or that like the or not all directors, but people like to direct each episode, I should say. There's always somebody different doing each episode. Who's doing the finale? Is it Rick? I always forget how to say his last name.
Fujiyama,
Yeah, I think he's doing the finale.
It.
He's done some really good episodes.
Yes.
So I am hopeful that the finale will be good because he's done some really good Mando episodes. I'm looking forward to the finale with him.
Famayua, sorry, I totally.
Yeah, I always mess
butchered
his
that,
name.
yeah.
I always mess his name up too, but yeah. Before I give my rating, I just want to welcome D'Lo the Collector is here. Cage's favorite. One bite, everyone knows the rules.
I just
Chat,
got to
you
get
can-
some ink for my printer, and then I can turn off that message.
Everybody in the chat, you guys can let us know what your ratings are as well for this episode. I'm gonna go with a 7. I'm gonna go with a 7.
Say,
I'm gonna go with
we can't.
I'm gonna
keep
go with a
doing
7.
these
I'm gonna go with
decimals.
a 7.2567443.
7
I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a good episode. It wasn't anything like mind blowing to me. It's really hard because we're spoiled with the other episodes so far.
Yeah.
We've been really spoiled, and I think this is kind of the first episode. It seems like with every show, it's like, okay, what episode is going to be the one that isn't like the most, like, that doesn't capture the audience as much.
I just saw it too. Yes.
But yeah, this was the one that I would say there were some, and we'll get into it. But there were some like there's some of the dialogue stuff for me. We'll talk about it in some of the scenes. Some of the dialogue, it seems like they're trying to translate. They're trying to take Rebels and put it into live action, and it just doesn't translate well into live action when they're doing some of these scenes, especially when some of the scenes have like really serious undertones as far as like when they're surrounded by a bunch of troopers and like it's life or death essentially, but then it turns into like this really lighthearted conversation. We'll talk about it, but just some like kind of weird dialogue things where I'm like, this is like kind of a, but another thing is like, I swear every single Star Wars show, something like this happens in. It is a Star Wars thing that happens when the dialogue is something goofy or like just something that is like a Star Wars thing that they do. But with that being
Almost
said,
like they're like, we can't be too serious because this is family oriented. So let's
like can't be too serious. We gotta throw
Break
something
the
because it's
tension.
Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta break the tension.
Yep. So I'll say 7. I'll say a 7 out of 10. It was a good episode. I still enjoyed it. There were a lot of parts of it that I still really, really enjoyed. It wasn't a bad episode by any means to me. But we got a little bit of variability in some of the ratings. I'm going to be excited to see what Mike has to say about breaking down. I know he's going to break down the parts in depth as far as what he didn't like as much. Jedi291 is in the house. What is up, man? Good evening, guys. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Nice. Reese says 7 out of 10. The Thrawn nerf is real. Reese is not feeling the Thrawn. All right, let me transition us over here to the episode. Okay, can you guys see this okay on your end?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so we get this opening scene where Hera is talking to. Wait, hold on. Let me go back. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, just see right.
Hera is talking to Mon Mothma, which is awesome to see Mon Mothma, right? Love that. I love that they brought her into this show. And then she's talking to the senators, and she's, obviously they're angry at her for what she did, and how, Senator Ziono says this is like a fairy tale thing that she's saying as far as what happened. He's being a bully. Graham, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on kind of this scene here? And then we obviously got like some fan service because we get a reveal of a character who ends up showing up and kind of bailing Hera out. So what are your thoughts kind of how this scene unfolded and what went down here?
I mean, it was all right. I'm glad she got bailed out, but this isn't what I'm most interested in seeing.
Good
No
point.
pun intended. It's just not the part of the story that has my interest at this point. I really just wanted to dive deep into, the Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra part, with Thrawn and everything. But it's good. It's good for the story. It's good to kind of go back and show what happened to Hera, kind of, she's got to answer for what she did. So it's kind of good to see that come to fruition. And this is spoilers here, right? So we can talk about that character that came in.
Yes.
So that was C-3PO, obviously, that we saw, and it was the original actor that was playing him. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was good to see him. I feel like sometimes he's forced, like him and R2, but at the same time, I enjoyed it because for me, I've started Rebels, and I believe he was in season 1 already, from what I've seen. But it was still good to see in live action, like almost two Star Wars worlds kind of uniting. Like he was kind of like, for me, bringing them together and like kind of joining those universes for me. So it kind of made it that more real, almost like this is in the same universe and it makes sense. And so I enjoyed that part of it for sure. But I was a little sad at some of the cinematography from this scene.
It was missing the plot, as
Right.
people say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there about. That's a good point you made about like, kind of like combining what we're seeing, like what we know of old, and then I guess I shouldn't say of old because it's not that old, but yeah, bringing C-3PO in, I thought was a cool moment. I thought he looked really good. I thought he looked good on screen. Anthony Daniels, I thought it was
chromed up.
Yep, chromed
Dude's
up.
in his 70s, bro.
Yeah,
like,
he's still
you know,
going. I feel
pretty
like
cool.
he.
At that age, I wouldn't want to get into that suit.
Hell no.
I
man.
feel like
give him a lot of credit.
he's probably just is so protective of that character. He doesn't want anybody else to ever touch C-3PO.
I get
He
that
will,
feeling.
anytime he
that.
comes, anytime he has, like, anytime 3PO comes back, I feel like he will not let anybody else do that part.
Yeah.
Probably just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I respect that. I really
Yeah, I
respect
do too.
that.
He's really into the character. I just
Yeah.
want to give a quick shout out here to X-Men Supreme. Well, looky here,
Dude.
who I just saw over on 16 Figure Focus Change channel. He tuned in for my episode of Visions that I just did for the stream marathon today that I'm having. So good to see you, man. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Mike, what were your thoughts on this scene here?
Yeah, I agree with everything Graham said. It was cool to see 3PO. Like I didn't cry, but I also wasn't like, ugh, 3PO, bringing him in for, I don't know, like fan service. Like it was cool, and I like that we can show him some reverence even in world. You know what I mean? Because he's been around forever, and he's Leia's personal assistant, so it makes sense. It's cool. I guess that shot could do it for you, Graham. I don't know if you have the zoom
Enhance?
enhance.
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 But
enhance.
no,
I feel like
But
such
yeah,
a
I thought-
perv right now.
I guess my
It's not letting
I
me
wonder-
zoom.
while watching this with my wife, I was like, where are the dozens and dozens of crew members and everybody in that fleet that had space whales flying past them? You know, at least one of them could have been there to support her story. So I thought that was like a little weird. But no, it was a cool scene. I'm a sucker for like the inner workings of all this. This is what I loved about Andor. So, and I love Mon Mothma. I love this actress playing her. She's so good.
She's
That
so
was-
good.
Yeah. That was an effective scene, and I like how Hera got out of trouble with Leia helping her out, and I felt like her attitude really here. After she's been growing on me more and more. I didn't dislike her at first, but she was like one of the characters that it took a little time for me to really feel like she was Hera from Rebels.
I agree.
If that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
And I thought this like really captured that feeling that I have of that character from animation.
Yeah. I agree. It was awkward. I shouldn't say awkward because it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just I think more of we just needed to see some character development and what her plot was in the show to be able to get that. It just seemed like early on it was hard to know what her story. And like I'm pretty happy with what they've done with this being a Ahsoka show and what Hera kind of has like this side story going on. I think they've like done a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, and what do you guys think? Like, I think it was a good use of Leia, like at least in name,
Yeah.
rather than maybe recasting. Or some people were saying she should have been a hologram in the courtroom or something like that. But I don't know. This worked for me. I didn't feel like it was missing something.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't
worked
think we
for me
need to
too.
see, I don't think we need to see her necessarily.
No.
Yeah. It's almost
No,
out of respect too.
Yeah.
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 I think
And
it was
also,
probably just enough to hear.
I
Just
was
hear
gonna
the
say,
name.
like
you know?
when you hear, that's another
Yeah.
thing. When you hear the name, it's pretty much enough at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
and
you know
hearing-
the impact it's gonna have.
I'd rather just hear her name than be taken out by like poor CGI or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't need to force that
Yeah.
that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Cage, what about you, man? What'd you think about this this whole part here?
Pretty much agree with what everybody else is saying. I guess like my biggest takeaway from this scene was more about the process of what was happening, more than like the content of what they were talking about. Although the content was somewhat important too. And what I mean by that is, I think they're just setting up for us to really show. So when Thrawn does show up, nobody was taking this seriously. They're woefully unprepared, right?
Yeah,
I think sprinkled throughout a couple of these different shows, part of the like a subplot that's kind of been woven between all of them is really setting up the incompetence of incompetence might be too harsh of a word, but I think it fits well for describing kind of the New Republic, at least while it's trying to get its feet and trying to get back on track, so that it can kind of explain how the First Order rose, right? So they can start to weave in the sequels here eventually. But no, awesome to see 3PO. It's Hera. I loved this scene. I mean, I don't really have much else to say other than I also think, I don't know if anybody caught a nice little tip of the hat saying that Leia was like the Minister of Defense or something like that.
That was cool.
And somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I had read that this may or may not be canon, that Leia ends up, the reason she ends up leaving the New Republic is because a senator exposes that her father is Darth Vader. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that is in. Sometimes legends and canons gets mixed up in my head, but
Yeah.
I think that's canon.
Okay.
Pretty
Well,
sure.
the only thought I had is with the I'm just going to call him the bully, the guy who was
Could be
just
him.
bullying Hera the whole time. Like maybe they're setting up that eventually we will end up seeing that he's the one that, outs that Leia, is related to Darth
Interesting.
Vader,
I
and then
wonder
she
if
has to
they could
leave.
bring
You know
that
what I mean?
into live action.
Yeah. I didn't know if maybe that's why they wanted to drop in like, oh, she's basically the leader of the military right now, right? So she leaves, she just takes a lot of the military to go set up her own resistance. But I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, always awesome seeing 3PO. So great scene.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, I don't know where this scene is. Like, is there going to be any more evolution of this scene from here? That's a good point. Like, what are the ramifications of that? Because I thought, Kate, you got any more thoughts on this one?
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I thought it was a good scene. I think it was an easy way for them to basically, because I think what my main thing was like, okay, Hera's gonna like face some potential serious punishment, and this was their way out of basically she's not gonna be punished whatsoever because Leia bailed her out, right? And I think it's it's good fan service to have, like you guys already said, C-3PO delivering that message. It's cool to see 3PO name drop Leia, fine with it. It was just at first I thought it was a little weird because I was like, okay, Hera just did all this crazy stuff, I guess it shows you more so the power that Leia has, where now it's just like, nope, I already approved this mission and that's that, and it's adjourned.
Yep.
We're done. Like, that's it. Leia says what Leia says goes, and it's done. And now Hera will face no punishment. Like, Leia has some pull, obviously, but it basically, like, Hera, they're acting like she did some very, very bad things. Like, he's asking for her to be court-martialed, and then Leia comes in and is just like, nope, I approved the mission. We're done. So I was like, okay, that's just literally the whole thing is done because of that. So, like I said, at first I thought it was a little weird, but it makes sense. It makes sense. This shouldn't be something on the other hand, this shouldn't really be something that's really drawn out. They don't need to draw this out and keep making it like Hera did something bad and she's going to be. So I'm glad they kind of closed that loop as far as this part goes here.
Do you think she has like a part in the finale? Do you think she's going to have a role to play in that, or do you think we're kind of done with her for the season?
The only thought I had about that was that maybe part of having her come all the way back to what I think is going to be like the core, right, of kind of the galaxy, is to get her away from the area where Thrawn and them are going to come back next episode. So that's kind of the reason of like, why wasn't Hera there ready to counterattack if they have arrived? Why isn't she out there waiting for Ahsoka? Maybe this is just part of that excuse to like have her too far away from that, right?
Sure.
That was the only thought I had because I had that same thought.
I've been hoping this whole season that this would lead up. Like once we didn't see Zeb for the first, 4, 5, 6 episodes, I was like, oh, it's going to be this grand finale where everyone is fighting and Zeb joins in and all that. But they've got to get back to this galaxy. There's just so much to do to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Could happen, but it feels like a hurdle at this point. Yeah. One other thing about this scene real quick is it helps establish where we are in time by mentioning, what's his name from Mando, when he said, what about Gideon. The stuff what about Moff Gideon on Mandalore? Mm-hmm. So that was cool to kind of like solidify where we are.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yep. And to hear them then follow up by saying like, oh, well, he was a lone wolf, right? Further cementing,
Yeah, the remnant, like, no. The Imperial remnant. Like, listen to what you're saying. Like
Shadow Council?
Senator Ziono's like and then we know also, the other thing is like, we know from Mando Season 3 what's going on behind the scenes when Gideon's meeting with them and talking about Project Necromancer and the imminent return of Thrawn. So they're just like completely disregarding the fact that Gideon they're just, like you said, that's a really good point. I forgot about that part in this scene of they're just like, he was a lone wolf guy doing his own thing. Yep. No, he's literally talking to everybody on this council about the imminent return of Thrawn for Project Necromancer. So they're just, like the incompetence.
I think it's a combination of like incompetence and also like underhandedness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. Sure.
And I think like they just like the Empire is gone and they're like, there's so few people left. Any of the people left, we pretty much weeded them out as being, the bad people, and we don't really have to worry about anything else. And Thrawn is in, if they're talking about him being in another galaxy, whatever it was 7 years ago, or what, I forget exactly what the timeline was. Why would they be concerned about him? Yeah, is it 9? I was going to say 7 to 10 year period or whatever from Rebels when he left. Why would they be concerned about that? Sure. We've kind of talked about that, but yeah.
It's also something like, they worked so hard to defeat the Empire that they almost don't want to think about or hear about, like, if there are remnants or anything. They just kind of turn a blind eye and just be like, no, like, we won, don't want to, you don't want to think about that or talk about that. Like, they're just, it's almost like they're just afraid to even acknowledge that might be a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I want to give a quick shout out in the chat to Mad Planet 23 is here. Who says, hi, everyone. Yep, it sounds right. Revealed Darth Vader's her dad in one of the new books he read. Yeah, talking about Leia. Reset, I was glad the scene was so short and resolved quickly. Then we get this scene here, which I thought was pretty cool. Like this, when Ahsoka's doing, like, going through these different forms, right? And then we see just like, love to see more Anakin stuff, right?
Of course.
It's like I can't get the exact. Let me see if I can get the exact thing because I want to kind of get a picture of Anakin here. But I thought this was cool.
Yeah. And she's got 20 more of them, so we can see more of him in the future.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. That they needed to name how many of these things they have. They could have easily just said, "Oh, I got plenty more," right? Or like, "Yeah, I have a few more." They're like, "I have 20 of these." I know. It's like, why that number?
One per season.
Yeah, right.
One. We're gonna drag. We got Hayden in his right now. Where he's at, we're gonna use these for the rest of Star Wars existence.
Yeah.
One every year. We're gonna show one of his holograms. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. Ahsoka doing this, obviously, in her training. I don't really have. So good. Yeah, he looks so good. It's just really cool seeing her mentioning. Yeah, she has 20. She has 20 more of them. Like, I want to see all of them.
Yeah.
I want to see what all these look like, but I thought, this was really cool obviously seeing him in here. I don't know if anybody else, you guys can kind of just throw stuff out if there's anything else you want to talk about as far as this scene goes. It wasn't too long. It was kind of just her doing this training stuff. Hu Yang comes out. I think Hu Yang is just such a cool droid too.
That's great.
But yeah, let
I
me see this
like, I
little
like when
box.
Anakin says, "You need to practice these forms, or at least more than I did."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A little character touch
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Well, then
To
I
me,
also
though, it was,
appreciated. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Cage.
No, please.
I was just gonna say, it's really quick. To me, this scene was almost kind of heartbreaking for me,
Yeah.
just because
Mhm.
it's almost like it's just sad because you think about what Anakin turned into being and how she, everything she went through and lost him, and just like the fact that she has these memories almost, but that's all she has, and that's all she'll probably ever have. So I don't know. It's just kind of heartbreaking that she's holding on to him like this, and this is kind of the only way that she can hold on to him. So it was just kind of, it wasn't like I was crying or anything, but it was just kind of heartbreaking to see something
You
like
sound
that.
like you're getting
So.
a little choked up.
Come
over
on,
there,
bro.
man.
You can
Well,
admit
it's
it.
just the sickness, but
Just the sickness getting over.
You're here with the gray shirt crew. You can tell us
It's
these
okay,
things.
man.
Okay?
It's okay.
this is the safe tree with the nest, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're in the nest, man.
Yeah.
But you're right, though, and she really does drive that home when she pauses and she says, "He was a good master." You know, she's still dealing with that.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I didn't really think about that part, but yeah, just like it's cool also to see how she kind of like had the, everything she experienced, kind of the closure she had with Anakin, and then still see her using his holograms to still do the training. You know what I mean? I didn't really, I guess I didn't expect to see that. I didn't expect to see this, I guess what I'm saying too. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected to see her, another Anakin. Like I thought maybe that that was going to be the closure, and that would have been that. I didn't really expect to see her doing some training and then seeing a hologram, but thought it was cool. I thought this little thing was cool too, how like we see these like training droids and
Yeah.
stuff, and like this little area with this cool like, I mean, there's just a lot of Japanese inspired stuff
Yeah.
here. I feel like it all just
wooden
looks,
box.
yeah, wooden box. You see like this training stick thing right here.
Yeah.
It just all looks really, really cool. I love like the Japanese inspiration for some of this stuff, kind of like smaller details.
That's a Boken sword,
Yeah.
which like I'm not going to claim I knew all that crap. It's just from like looking it up. Not crap. It's cool.
Yeah.
But when I looked up Boken Jedi to see if that was ever used in Star Wars before, and it hadn't been, and but it is the name of that type of wooden
Yeah.
swords.
It's cool that they're sprinkling that stuff in there, and just like,
Yeah.
it's always fun reading up on this stuff after too, and seeing just like all the little details. They drop
Yeah.
so much stuff into these.
One last thing
details.
about that training.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just real quick, loved the Asajj Ventress, General Grievous,
Yes.
and Count Dooku shout out.
Yes.
That
First
was
time.
super cool to hear.
Yep.
First time she's been mentioned in live
Yeah.
action.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Yes, I forgot about that when Anakin said that, mentioned them by name.
Yep.
Yep. Yes, that was
Even
really
Count Dooku. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
Very, very, very cool.
Yep. And then we get into kind of, this is when the episode kind of like takes off, I feel like, from an action perspective, when we get like, I thought this looked really cool as far as like when the mouth opens up. And you just see like, we already knew shit was going to pop off because last episode, Thrawn says right when they enter, just start firing on them. This scene for me, I guess I'll go first here. Honestly, I thought we were going to see like Purgo like getting annihilated.
Yep.
Maybe too.
I'm kind of glad we didn't, to be honest. But and then it was like kind of Hu Yang just says like, well, it's nice that the Star Whales are providing cover for us, basically, is what he ends up saying. So like they
Then they
make a
bolt.
joke of it. Yeah, and then so I thought like, yeah, and then they just bailed out, right? Then they just
Yep.
bailed out, which I was actually like okay with that. Like they just take off. He's like, well, yeah, like, oh, did you have to say, like Ahsoka's like, well, did you have to say that or whatever she says?
Yeah.
And then they just all like launch away. I honestly thought what we were gonna see is like a bunch of these whales just get destroyed
Yeah.
and
blown to bits.
annihilated.
Space
would've-
blubber.
Which
Yeah,
to me would have been sad. Yeah.
Yeah. But where do they go? Like it opens up a whole other thing. It's like
Yeah, that's what we were talking about last time. Of like, we talked about like they go to Pridia too to die,
Yeah.
and like it's like that's why I was saying like there must be some type of, they must go there and go other places and stuff. So there's still like a mysterious element around them, right? You guys got anything else to say about this scene here? I thought it looked good. I thought again the cinematics for like this looks really cool.
Yeah.
The cinematics for this episode, just like any of the other episodes, were all really, really good again, I thought. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add here.
One quick thing, it reminded me of Harrison Ford. He's told this story before. He's like, I asked George, like, okay, but how do I fly this thing? You know, like as an actor, like, what do I do?
Right.
And I was thinking of that when I was watching Ahsoka. She's like,
Wait,
I was like,
what?
Yeah,
Anyway,
some-
yeah,
when she's flying it, like some of it looked kind of fun, like kind of funny when she was flying,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
But the thing about flying in Star Wars, it's supposed to be like getting in a car for us. So really, it's supposed to be like almost anyone can fly a ship.
yeah.
Mm.
There are just race car drivers, and there are regular people. You know,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was cool. I thought this was cool flying down into the bones and like another callback. Or reminded me when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is like the asteroid field or anything
Yep.
else that is in Star Wars, right? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
a cool callback to that, but also doing something different.
Yeah, she even sets down on one of the bones, right?
Yep.
Like,
And the bones were like, I mean, this was just doing the bones for this was just such a cool thing with the bones of the star whales, as they say. They never say, they don't really say Purgle. You know, they reference star whales a lot. Graham, you have any thoughts on this part here?
No, not really. I mean, you guys nailed it all already. It's just it looked good. No, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I also like when Ahsoka, when she flies down and she lands on the bone and she's in hiding. I love how Thrawn's like, we zeroed in on her and found out where she is, and the beam that shoots at her is like she's so close to the planet. It's like
Right.
it doesn't really look like she's really even hidden anywhere. We might get to that. We might be able to see it. It's way up. But,
yeah, it'll be after that. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this is like the colors look really cool. I thought this was cool.
Yeah.
And then we get this conversation here between, this is when they're kind of basically trying to look for, you know, where Ahsoka is. Let me see here.
Wasn't that also the scene where he finds out that her master was Anakin?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is when he's talking to Morgan
And
Elsbeth.
he has that, like, I think the actor did a good job of having, like, oh, shit.
Yep. And he was like, oh,
look on his face
yeah,
for a
Master's
second.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like how she's got access to the Inquisitor files and stuff like that because the Inquisitors have been gone for a while now. You know what I mean? So, like, so it's just, I don't know. I don't think they've ever said the word or name Inquisitor before in the show.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
Not in this
Yeah,
one.
they haven't.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, they haven't said
Yeah.
it. They haven't said it.
Yeah.
So then we get this. They go and hide, and then we get this part where we get to.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
More annoyances.
I am going to give Mike. I'm going to give you the floor here first.
Defend your woman.
Oh my god. All right. Here's my defense of her. I think she delivers the lines really well. It's just she was giving crappy words to say, but you know, but she comes off like supernatural
Yeah.
in her delivery. You know, okay, if I'm like at a party and I want to leave, and my wife knows where my keys are,
Not a good start
and
to
like,
describing it.
but you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, this guy's been here for 10 years. You must demand an answer. And the thing is, what was really frustrating, she didn't even say she doesn't want to talk about it. He goes, so I think he asked her like something.
It's complicated, right?
Well, even
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
besides being
always
this
saying
complicated thing. Oh yeah, she goes, it's complicated. And he's like usual or something. And she's like, worse. And he goes, let's talk about something else. I'm like, why? She didn't even say she doesn't want to talk about it. Say worse how? Or like, what's going on? I mean, the thing is, so we know as an audience, we already know the story she told him, which was the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. He knows that. So we don't have to see that part, right? But we do need to see his desperation to know, okay, Freya, you want to tell me how you got here? How are we getting home?
Yeah.
What's going on? It was so frustrating as an audience member. First of all, they're moving slowly. They're speaking slowly. Like, there is no life or energy or need to come up with a plan or anything. The show just came to a grinding halt here, you know, and it was super frustrating for me. God damn. I'm sorry. I just like, This is such they dropped the ball so hard. There's no excuse for this. Because as an audience member, yes, the characters need this, but I also need to know I don't even know what direction they're going in. Like I know they're like we every so often we move. Okay, but are you going towards where Thrawn is? Are you going away from Thrawn? You know? You didn't even
Right.
ask her like, did you fly your own ship here? I don't know. It was just incredibly frustrating. The characters need a driving force, and there isn't one because the audience knows Ahsoka's coming, but they don't know Ahsoka's coming.
Yeah.
So look at her with her feet up. She should be shaking. She should be freaking shaking,
feet
nervous.
up.
Like, dude, I mean, we're basically Adam and Eve here. If we can't leave, we got to repopulate this whole planet ourselves.
Right.
I don't know. It's very frustrating.
Ezra too, just like honestly, just seems like he doesn't give two shits about anything.
doesn't
Ezra's
care.
just like, oh, it's complicated. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, so the empire. She's like, oh, so the empire's dead. I love the empire's dead, and she's like, that's what they say. To give the basically like somehow it was basically like a play on somehow Palpatine returned. Is basically
Yes.
what I thought of. Like, well, that's what they say. They're saying it basically left it open the fact that the empire is or the emperor is obviously alive, so to speak, from the sequels with
Yeah.
this would have been basically like kind of a retcon if it was
Yeah.
or I guess like you know what I'm trying to say, like this
Right, dude.
they went back to try to like make it a point to bring that up, which I thought was funny.
Another way that like this scene might have been able to work the way it is if Ezra didn't say a few times, "I can't wait to go home." So if he hadn't said anything, I might, as an audience member, be left going,
Maybe
"I
he's
don't think
gonna
this dude wants to leave.
Yeah.
I think he likes it here." But they didn't even give me that. They have him say casually, "Yeah, I'd love to go home."
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really weird. Like there's like still an element of Ezra that I feel like I don't fully understand of
No.
what he has become since being here for so long. Like I said, it's kind of like he's really carefree. I know they talked about like we'll get to it later, but he's like, the Force is my ally, which I actually really liked that aspect of it. But it's just like there seems to just be not really any like I want to know more about what Ezra's thinking and what his plan is and who he has turned into and what like his goal what are his Ezra's goals. Because right now there's like no progression of what Sabine is trying to accomplish with Ezra right now. It's
Their
just a lot of
galaxy.
like weird conversation.
Dude, their galaxy hangs in the balance. She should say, "Hey, dude, the ship's that way. Let's point these things over there. Here's your lightsaber. We got to take this dude out before they leave.
Yeah.
Like, you're the last hope to save our galaxy."
Yeah. She should have, right when she got there, said like, yeah, there should have been the conversation of her being like, look, I fucked up. I came out here. That's what should have happened. Like
Yeah.
there hasn't been that moment yet. It's just like, which I get it. And then I get it somewhat where she's like, I just want to, be happy that you're alive. Well, like there's a lot of shit happening where you got to figure out, what you're going to do. But there's just like hasn't been a lot of advancement.
Am I crazy here, or do you guys feel the same frustration?
No, I agree 100%.
The dialogue the dialogue is just so.
This is where they lost me.
Really weird.
Is this the part, Steve, that you said like they were trying to emulate?
No,
like I think they were
no.
trying. Well, for me here, this is where I think they were trying to emulate the banter that these two would have.
Oh,
in
sure.
Rebels.
They've been
You know what
doing
I
that
mean?
the whole show,
And,
and it
like,
just doesn't translate very well for me to live action.
This
Yeah.
one in particular. I think the
Yeah.
other ones maybe I was more forgivable on, but this one in particular, I was like, I can see what they're trying to do, and it's not hitting. Like
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not.
not.
And Mike, you made a really good point that this is a very serious. They are in
Yeah.
dire times right now. This is very serious. There's nothing lighthearted about what's going on. They're like acting like You would think right now they're on a planet where they're safe and nothing is.
Yeah.
There's no threat to
They're on
them.
vacation. Like,
Mhm,
this
yeah.
is bullshit.
Like they're hanging out, they're talking, and let's not forget that she was sent out here to go from Thrawn of all people to go find Ezra. And like if you didn't have the context of that, you wouldn't even know. By the way that they're talking. You know what I mean? So it's just in the dialogue for me, the Cage the point. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But one
I
last
just-
thing
I
about
thought
this
this
is
was
like, I know everyone's like, well, Ezra was kind of a jokey guy, but I think that's like selective memory because Ezra took serious situations very seriously.
Oh yeah.
So I really am annoyed that you have animation that is taking high stakes seriously, and you've got live action that's taking the end of the galaxy frivolously.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Like
just don't-
Ezra has joked around and Sabine and his character have joked around, but are some very serious and dark undertones when it comes to Ezra in Rebels.
Mhm,
You know, where
100%.
things like he's like considering different paths and stuff. I won't get into it too
yeah.
much, but like Ezra's doesn't just act like this. I just want to see a little bit more I want to see more out of him than we get a little bit more in this episode, but yeah, the dialogue, and then we get out of this. But anybody else have anything more they want to say about this part?
I
She
just
looked
jump
good.
in
I love
for
her
a minute.
hair.
Yeah,
Her hair blowing in the wind looked good. Sorry, Graham.
no, you're good, man. This is though where the episode kind of lost me, and like piggybacking off of everything you guys said, but at the same time, Sabine just keeps disappointing me one moment after another. Like the character in this is just making all the wrong moves, and you'd think by now she'd maybe start to like get it and like start to like arc her character a little bit, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. Like you guys said, like there's no sense of urgency to do anything other than I don't even know where we're going. I don't know what we're doing. What's how'd you get here? And they don't really want to talk about it. Like there's just like it's so confusing for the viewer, but then it kind of takes me out of the story as well because they're both just like lollygagging around and joking around and yeah, we just got to keep moving. But yeah, it's like, dude, you've been here like 7 to 10 years. You don't want to leave. Like push for some answers, and she needs to like know that, yeah, like you guys said, the seriousness of the situation instead
And
of
the
just
time
like, well,
based, like they are
Yeah.
don't
We'll
have
talk
a lot
about
of
it some other
time to
time.
figure it out. You
Right,
know what I mean? Like you got to figure this out.
I really didn't enjoy this part. This is
Yeah.
kind of where the episode started
Good
to lose
points.
me and whatnot. So
You guys brought up some points I didn't think about.
super frustrating.
How can we worry for them if they're not worried about anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like it wasn't. There's no threat to the situation.
Yeah,
Just
there's
know
no
if there's any
threat.
direction of what was going to happen, what they want to happen, even
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to get to a couple chats here. Reverse CEOs in the house. Is this what C? I cannot get away from Carnage.
Yeah, because you're gonna get that Carnage, right?
Oh my gosh, just when Carnage 3PO showed up. Zio, what is up, dude? Seeing Anakin one last time was so awesome. Yeah, that was really cool. X-Man Supreme says, oh, dude, when I saw the training sword Sabine was using, I immediately started Googling it. That would be a really cool thing to like have like hanging on your wall or something. You know, that'd be so cool. Yeah, Sabine and Ezra are too blasé about the whole get off this dangerous planet thing. And then we got Hot Toys Hotline in the house. What is up, dude? Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, dude?
So are you saying Ezra and his Space Turtle gang isn't serious haters? She's acting mad sus. I don't know how Ezra didn't pick up on it. Yeah, like I thought we would get it's been enough time where they need to talk about what is going on. I guess like maybe, and like the finale's coming up. So they're going to have to spend time of Sabine having a conversation with Ezra of like, this is what's going on.
Right.
Maybe they're going to do that. That's going to be an off-screen thing, or like they have to mention something about it, but it's going to take up finale time. You know what I mean?
This is also like, it's not like just like she came from a different state to come see him. Like this is like something. This is like something new in Star Wars. Like this
She's not
is
just
how the
visiting
hell
them on
did you get here?
vacation.
Like
They're on a
we
whole
didn't even
different
know
galaxy.
this place. Like how the hell did you get here? You know, like I don't know. It's just like she's just visiting from
Like
down
from another state.
yeah down south or
Seriously.
something, just coming up to see
Seriously.
him, and it was just so odd. So
Yeah.
Star Wars Theory had like a little short video today theorizing that this isn't even Ezra, this is Night Sister magic or something, and I'm like, dude, you are dreaming, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
I wish that was the case.
This isn't
but
the real Ezra.
Yeah.
And I don't have like, there's some good stuff we see about Ezra in this episode. I don't hate him. It's not like I hate Ezra as a character because he's a great character in Rebels. It's
Hates
just
Sabine.
they need to.
you stop it.
That's just hurtful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they speak. Ezra, buddy, look up at that massive star destroyer.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Exactly.
like he's like, what's going on? And we kind of
Yeah.
talked about it. We kind of talked about it before too. Of like, it's just a weird. The scope of this planet seems kind of weird too. Of like, Thrawn's been looking for Ezra and hasn't been able to find him. And we talked about last week. Like Sabine is just like within. It seems like within an hour of her life, she finds him no problem because she meets like
Well, and they know how
the-
dangerous it is too. Like
no
he even
tea.
said, we can't stay in one place too long,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But they're all just kind of
Yeah, so
No
it's probably
urgency.
probably because of the way the show is, and like they can't spend like 2 episodes of Sabine doing that for the show. It would be nice if they had more budget and time to be like, if this was a 12 to 14 episode show, sure, that'd be really nice. But the reality is that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, next we get this, like, so then we get all the really cool stuff that the show has been providing. Like, this is a really cool, I think, like the character designs, everything looks really, really cool as far as like the theme of the show is still there in this episode, which I thought was cool. We get the bandits again. And then, oh, I forget exactly what was said here. Do you guys remember exactly what's said at this point? Is this when he tells Shin to go there?
Not yet.
Is that
That's
later?
coming up. That's coming up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's here. It's here.
There you go.
It's
Yep.
yep. It's this conversation, but that's what. So they arrive, and then the Night Sisters say, "Okay, let's find." This is when. Yeah, this is when it's okay.
Yep.
Let's find Ahsoka. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
It happens after that. So then we get to see this cool like Night Sister magic again, right? Which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I
I like those multi-purpose spheres they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? Just really quick too. You know what the whole Sabine Ezra thing reminded me of is like, you know, your daughter is like out dating this guy when she shouldn't be, and like all of a sudden the mother or the father like finds out, and she's like calling out to them, and then she's like, "Oh crap!" Like Ahsoka. Like oh man,
mom's here. Oh shit.
yeah. Oh, I forgot. I should have been doing a lot of different stuff right now, but you know, it just kind of reminded me of that too. Like, it's just weird. I had to throw that out there.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Reese says Ezra will probably find out secondhand. Everybody knows but him. I doubt it'll be a conversation more than an exchange of glances when disposition is going on. That's gonna be an interesting point. Like, what if somebody else? What if Ahsoka tells him? And it's not like, what if Sabine doesn't? What if Sabine just doesn't tell him what's going on, and he learns it from somebody else, and Sabine's just like, I couldn't know how to tell you, or I didn't know how to tell you, or I guess we'll find out. But I don't see them spending a lot of time on it. Connor says this season's going to end with us begging for another season ASAP. There will be a lot that isn't even close to being resolved. That is very true.
Oh yeah.
There's
Definitely.
a lot in this finale that I hope they don't just try to close everything in the finale. And I don't think they will. I think we're going to see, you know, I think we're probably going to get a second season of this show. I don't know what they've talked about with that, but yeah. So then we get, this part here where they're kind of hiding. Oh yeah. So then we get Ahsoka. Like, I thought this was pretty cool. Where we get, does anybody want to speak to this part here at all, or what your thoughts were as far as Ahsoka kind of connecting with Sabine? Did you guys like this? What'd you guys think? You guys can just shout it out.
I think I really liked how like when it would flash to Sabine, like she couldn't describe it, but she described it as a feeling. I think she says familiar, right? So I think a nice little touch there that she isn't immediately like, oh, it's Ahsoka, right? So I like that part. Otherwise, I mean, Jedi GPS is cool and all.
GPS.
I mean, because then Ahsoka knows exactly, you know, I think she opens her eyes, she goes, I know exactly where she is. It's like, oh, convenient. I wish I had that power.
This is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the look that Sabine should have had on her face when she met Ezra and been like, I fucked up. Yeah. And like, this is like probably one of the most serious faces we see on Sabine's faces right here.
And like, we need to fix it, not, oh, hey, let's live amongst the turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love it. The Turtle Club. That's just like Sabine.
Yeah, I was curious as to how he didn't feel anything.
Yeah, he's like, what's
like,
going on?
Him being more
like,
force sensitive, like I kind of figured he'd be like, wait, I
he's basically like, what's going on? Yeah, he was detached from them connecting essentially, which is interesting.
The only moment of concern he has in the entire episode is when she shuts up for 5 seconds. Sorry, I'm not going to be a jerk the whole time.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Especially for you, Mike, because like we all know how much you love Sabine.
Yeah,
I do. I love her, and I love the show, and I love these characters. I'm just passionate about it. So if anyone watching disagrees with me, I'm not crapping on you or your.
Well, I don't think it's. I don't think another thing is like I don't think any of us have the intent of saying that we hate the episode based on what's going on. You know what I mean? This isn't a like, at least, you know, for me, and it sounds like you guys feel the same, of like, we're kind of just pointing out parts that, you know, are worthy of some criticism. But I don't, like I said, I still enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot worse.
We've seen a lot worse. And also it's ultimately it's fine. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on the show overall, looking back on it. It's just going to be like, man, they could have probably did those things differently. Nevertheless, this is still a really great show. So I just want to say that because I'm sure
Yeah.
some people are listening to this and like, wow, they are just like going in on Ezra and Sabine.
No.
But I think it's important to be critical about this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially we've been waiting to see something like this for how long now? If you've seen
yeah.
Rebels and like, so it's just important. Like Mike said, you know, it's passionate about it. And it's important to us like that we see, you know, these characters and we want it to look good and be good.
Yeah, and I thought it was like a good, mild use of her, like whatever little force ability she has, right? Because we've seen that before. Like when I know Leia is Anakin's daughter, but still, like she remembers her mother, you know, who she never met, and there are like little things like that have been peppered through Star Wars over the years, like that. So it didn't bother me.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, 100%.
Yep.
And then we get this part and
Just sitting ducks, you know,
that's right.
just out in the open,
Yeah.
traveling slow.
There's
just funny,
something,
too.
yeah. There's something about like Ezra's character that just like makes me chuckle too. For like in this show, like whenever it's like some weird, just funny things with his character.
He's a good actor.
He is.
Yeah,
he,
he
did,
is.
he really. I will say that like they casted him perfectly, and like it does seem like even though we're not getting a ton out of him, it's like okay, this is Ezra 100%.
Yeah,
So I am
I
really
agree.
happy about that. It's not like the character never felt like even right from the jump, it never felt like this wasn't Ezra or that. You know, he didn't like come right into character because I feel like he like you knew right away once he started talking and stuff that it was Ezra. So I
And
think
on a
that's really
superficial level, he's got the little scar here.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
that. I know some people are complaining his eyes are too blue, and I can see that, but I don't know. They try.
Potato, right?
Yeah.
At that point, like,
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna complain about that.
Yeah,
He's-
once you get into eye color and stuff, like
Yeah.
then you're just too much of a nerd. At that
But real
point.
quick, you know, Rosario, like originally she wasn't going to wear contacts for this, and like supposedly Filoni was like never even really brought it up, and she fought for it. So I always give her respect. She's so passionate for the character. You know, that's cool. Because
Yeah.
what actor wants to wear like contacts that aren't necessary? And you know what I mean? So that was
yeah,
cool.
the whole time.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And then we get what I think is the most intriguing aspect of the show, honestly, is these two. Like setting
It's
up
hard to
from
understand
the
what's going
beginning.
on between these two, but also like what's going on in Balin's head.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
still trying to figure that out.
Yep. There's still like the mysterious element of I'm sure
Everybody
we
is.
will I'm sure we will get something
Shit
next
is.
episode. Yep, I'm sure we're gonna get something next episode. But yeah, this is interesting of like when he, you know, they go and then he basically I'm pretty sure this is the part it's hard to tell when we're going through the stills of like I think this is the part where he tells her like you need to he basically says like
Yeah.
go take your rightful place in the new empire, right? Isn't that what he
right.
says?
Yep.
So he's like, go do that. I'm going to go, you know, it's time that you do that. I'm going to go do
Sit here.
something, you know, do what he's going to do. It's just, I guess it's just like, that's a big decision to make. You know what I mean? To like separate like that. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on this as far as how this conversation went between them, what your thoughts are. You can speak a little bit if you want to, like, you know, what you think maybe Balin might be up to or what direction Shin is going to go.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that. Like, do you think this is something that he's been planning for a while, or do you think it's something because you could almost read it as like from their conversation in the previous episode, he saw in her that she just doesn't have what it takes to go on this journey he's going on, and she's more traditional, you know, in her approach to power and what she wants. So he's like doing this for her, like, hey, you'd be better off taking that path. I trained you, but you're not really in line with what I'm trying to do. Or do you think he's always kind of had this plan? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm kind of like I'm struggling to understand it as well because you know, I thought this was part of their job was to, you know, secure Ezra and Sabine, and like wouldn't you need all your forces to kind of take them down, especially when there's two of them and all their turtle friends. So I don't know. It's just kind of it didn't seem like an easy task just to send one person to take care of it. So and I was just thinking, well, what are you going to do? Just sit there? Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Like, I don't know what his thought process is. So it's very intriguing, but it's also just, it's got me wondering and wanting answers. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's a good point. Like, he doesn't know that he's about to fight Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
dude, go down the hill, kill them, and then tell her to bounce.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I think he knows more than what we know.
Yeah.
I think this is a calculated move on his part. I think he knew getting to think he's known like getting to Thrawn will like what that could potentially mean for him if he gets to Peridia. I think there's something more to that as far as, and it's something that he believes that he must have to do like on his own. You know what I mean? The weird thing is the question mark for me is like, what does that ultimately mean? If he does this, what does that mean for everybody else? Like what powerful entity or what powerful thing is he going after that's going to allow him to do whatever he does without jeopardizing anybody else?
Yeah.
You know what I
To
mean?
end all war. I mean,
To
he
end
said
all
it in one of
war.
the episodes.
And if
He's like,
Thrawn's
I'm-
going to start a new war, what is his goal? Like that
Yeah.
means that he's not going to be involved in that, and like he's sending Shin to just go be a part of what he's saying that he wants to basically not have happen anymore. So it's really interesting, but I think like it's a calculated move on his part.
Did he say though that the Thrawn War would be a necessary war?
Yeah, he basically
Am
said
I-
like he basically
think
was
so.
saying like that Thrawn is necessary. Yeah, but it's interesting because at that point it seemed like he was saying that what Thrawn is. It made it seem like what he was saying is them all working with Thrawn was going to be the plan. But then
Right.
it turned into like
Right.
now it's kind of like evolved into this like he senses something, you know, stronger that he's being pulled towards on the planet. So I don't know. There's a lot of different things. I don't know if you guys.
I
have
thought
any more
I
thoughts
thought
on
for
it.
sure we would lose one of the villains this episode and focus on Thrawn next episode. But I mean, everybody's still here too. So
I get the feeling like we might not see him in the next episode, and his story is to continue in season 2. So hopefully they recast him and don't
Leave
just
Schreiber.
abandon.
I would love that. I really hope that they keep this character. I do not want them to kill him off next episode. Like if he next episode, I don't think it happens. First of all, like I don't think he dies next episode. You do all of this and you set up all these mysterious elements for 7 of 8 episodes. And then like what? He goes back and tries to like stab Thrawn in the back and Thrawn kills him and is like,
Yeah,
I
so-
hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that doesn't happen. And he's just like, hopefully he's not like scheming to go behind Thrawn's back. Because like I could also see them pulling,
I could see
okay, Balin's doing all this and knowing how Thrawn is as a villain, that Balin goes to do what he's going to do next episode, and Thrawn's going to be waiting for him with a plan to stop him from doing it and end him. Like that would be the only thing that I see potentially happening outside of him living is if Thrawn is like, I've been aware of you, like, and that would show, I guess, if they're trying to show the power that Thrawn has and what his kind of MO is and always being a step ahead of everybody. It would make sense, but they better do a really good job of making it make sense after setting us up all this mystery about what Balin is trying to do. For Thrawn to just end that all of a sudden would be just interesting if that happens. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. It could go a completely different way with everything I just said.
I really hope kind of what we get to see is you know, at some point everybody leaving the planet, because I know we'll get to this part, but if we're talking kind of like predictions for next episode, you know, I do think we're going to see Thrawn leave the planet, right, to head back to the main galaxy. And perhaps when it comes to Balin, what we'll end up seeing is like, you know, the ship's going to take off and the camera's going to kind of pan back and there he is and he like turns around and walks into a Night Sister temple and that's all we see of him for like nothing else that season, right? Again, leaving open the possibility and the idea of like, ooh, what's Balin going to be doing? Because everything you guys have said so far was all the thoughts I had, which was we see these scenes with Balin, and I'm like, I'm even more confused about what he wants, right? Or like, what is he there for? Like, they're intentionally, obviously, holding back this information and just trying to give us these little sprinkles of it here and there. I've seen people, and my own personal thought was at first maybe this would be something he's searching for, like the world between worlds, because we've already seen it this season, and maybe he thinks that will bring him, you know, some type of power. Kind of like we saw Palpatine do in Rebels, spoiler, or try to at some point. And if it's not that, I've also heard people say, I don't partake in this one, but maybe you guys have heard this as well. Some people are saying maybe it's Abeloth. If you're familiar with Abeloth in Legends, basically the Force mom. So there's the father, the son, the daughter, and then there's the mother, Abeloth. I don't think that's going to happen. But I could also see it being some crazy Night Sister magic or something, right? I'm not sure, but I think all the scenes with him, which are always really good. I immediately kind of sit up straighter, or, in my chair when I see Balin on. I hope we get some answers, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get any by the end of next episode.
Yeah, I heard some of that too, and then some people have translated some of the supposedly ancient Sith writing on the Night Sister building there. That it's talking about a particular like Zepho character.
Yeah.
It says like "May he rise again" or something like that. So perhaps that's who's speaking to him. Or I just think the whole mystery is
Ancient
great.
technology.
Yeah, but I don't want like a J.J. Abrams mystery box BS. I want something to come of this. You know what I mean? Like,
Something cool.
I don't want a million dangling threads that just go nowhere. So,
Yeah, don't build up all this mystery and then let us down with like nothing comes of it. They got to do something with all the build up. You know, like it better be something powerful. We at least got to know what it is.
Yeah, or like allude to it, right? Like allude to like like he's walking into a Night Sister temple.
If they do like
he's
he's like
shit, in the background or something.
That would make sense if they do that and set us up for like what's to come. I think that would be really cool. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on that on Balin or what direction he's headed?
I mean, I still think it was kind of I think it was kind of shitty just to be like, all right, go on. Oh, by the way, I've heard people call Shin Hati Taylor Sith. So like, all right, Taylor, go on, go down there, go fight your own battles. I'm gonna go get all this power to stop war. But yeah, you go do your little squabble. I'll see you later.
Well, it's so weird too because they've been a team the whole show, and then all of a sudden, it was just kind of random. Well, you need to do this, and even she was like, "Oh, okay," like kind of taken off guard by it. So it's just, it was odd, and it really threw me for a loop too.
I hope it's not the beginning of a setup for like kind of what I would perceive as a lame redemption arc.
Yep.
Like, I come on, no.
Yep.
So I hope
I had the same thought right towards the end. When Ahsoka holds out her hand, right, and says whatever she says, and then Shin awkwardly turns and like slowly tries to run away, and it was. Yeah. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but felt a little awkward. But yeah, I had the same feeling. Like, are they setting up for a redemption, right? Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks for your thoughts on that one, guys. So next we get like these
TIE Defender.
troopers, all these troopers, which look really cool in my.
It's a hot toys coming.
Yeah, really cool seeing a TIE Defender, right? TIE Defender, the transport they get in, I think.
Absolutely.
The cool ships that we get to see.
Or not the Defender.
Yeah, it's not the Defender.
I was hoping to see a TIE Defender. That would have been cool. I was trying to look in the background during this scene to be like, are there any Defenders back there?
Yeah, these little transport ships are cool.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the first time we're ever seeing these in live action. They were in Rebels, but it's cool to see them in live action, man.
Yep, agreed. I want to look like. Go back for a second.
I know. I was looking back there.
See,
like,
oh yeah, okay. So we get TIE fighters.
I was
going to
TIE
see
Defenders back there?
I remember I was like, the hangar looked pretty cool when I was watching this, but you only get to see it. We don't really see too much else in there. But
I was reading up on these, and supposedly they were Republic police vehicles, and then and then when it switched over to the Empire, then they got this color scheme, and that's what they use them for now. So,
very cool.
Yeah, cool. Seeing those fly in, and then we get this action scene. I thought this was fine. I thought it was cool. I don't really have too much to say about this part. You guys have anything to say about this action scene part where they're shooting at each other?
It's decent action.
Decent action.
Cool effects.
There's not really much to break down in this.
It was good that the rocks just bounced off them and weren't effective. Like the slingshot and rock.
Luckily it didn't go flying.
Full Ewok.
Cool to see the turtle using the slingshot though, right? Because that was Ezra's kind of first weapon of choice for the longest time. So it was cool to see like maybe he had taught this person about the slingshot.
That's a good point.
That was cool to see that.
Cool.
A little bit of defensive mechanism,
Yeah.
Probably what they're capable of doing.
Pretty much.
Matt Plant says, meet the night troopers, same as the old stormtroopers.
Dude,
we're going to talk about that. When they die, they just like fall to the ground. I thought we were going to maybe see them like potentially be undead and stuff, right?
Yeah.
When they get touched, they fall to the ground, then they die.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then at this time when they're fighting, and then Ahsoka's ship starts flying in, right, and then Balin looking like a badass sees her coming down. I thought this was cool, kind of when she jumped out. The animation looked a little. I mean, they probably are. They're doing what they're doing with it. You know what I mean? I don't know how much better you can really make it look when she jumps like this. You know, it just looks like.
Yeah, a little bit there at the end.
You know, it looks a little weird the way she's like. You can tell
bit.
it's anime, like it's not animated, but you can
Little
tell
bit.
there's special effects. Yeah, it doesn't look like. It doesn't look super clean, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And then we get this, which the Japanese music starts playing, kind of, just a really cool scene, and then we get like this part.
He
just
said
looks
something
really,
else
really
cool too here, didn't he? Like before they fought, like I don't know. I
I
thought
didn't. Did
said
he say like I
something
didn't
else.
expect like you?
Or how
you not who I
unexpected
expected
or-
to see.
Yeah,
I didn't expect
something
to
like
see you or
that.
something.
I
like
liked how he was pretty much like happy to see her in a way.
Yeah.
At least that's how I
Yes,
interpreted
it's
it. Like
cool.
seeing like his reaction or whatever he said, like you were referring to there, Graham. Like I kind of had a interpreted that as like he was like, oh, it is nice to see, because we have heard him talk about how he's like, oh, it'd be a shame to kill it because there's so few Jedi left, right?
It's like the Joker with Batman. Like the Joker needs Batman. Doesn't want to kill him. He just wants to mess with him,
right.
for all time. So it's kind of like the same thing here a little bit.
He does say something cool to her, and then she responds with, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And he should have been like, lady, I was standing here alone.
you came up to me.
Yeah, like,
You approached me. Leave me alone then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have time for this. Basically, like, that's funny. I think it's like probably just her saying like, I'm gonna take you out. Basically.
Yeah, I don't have time to chit chat.
Yeah,
The stance was cool,
but it's
too.
still funny. It's still funny when you say it like that. Like, yeah, well, like Balin's just like, well, you walked up to me. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, this stance is really cool. Like they've been killing it with these like dual shots that they've been having throughout this.
Everybody
season,
has
for
like
sure.
their own personalized stance almost. And if I was like a Jedi or a Sith, I'd probably be holding that thing like Balin is too away from me, so I don't
Yep.
like cut a body part off accidentally.
Yeah.
I
But,
know.
Yeah, really important
it's
one.
like if we ever would, I don't think we will, but if we ever would get a Hot Toys figure of him, like that would be a cool stance too, just kind of
Oh, yeah.
holding
Arm
away,
back. Yep.
down and away.
Yep, I agree.
Very Dooku.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you guys think of this
Oh,
part?
this part,
where Ezra
yeah.
doesn't want to take his own lightsaber.
didn't
I
like
loved it.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, I liked it.
I'll tell you one reason it was good. For one utilitarian reason, because he'd be too OP with it. So it's like he would just slaughter everybody instantly. So it works mechanically for him not to have it. But
I liked how it just obviously it followed right with the story, right? He hasn't had a lightsaber in 9 years, and the only way he's been able to defend himself is with the Force, right? So I loved hearing I don't need that. The Force is my ally, right? Like Qui-Gon just smiling somewhere in the Netherverse.
but then here she offers him blasters, and he's like, nope. But he takes a blaster
I
from
know,
the
yeah.
Stormtrooper and shoots a few of them. So once again, he's not like
That's a
I'm
good
not
point.
clear
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good point. I did really
Yeah.
like. I agree with what Cage is saying. Like, I like how he's like the Force is my ally. It just reminds me of like Chirrut Imwe, who I always talk about. One of my favorite characters. From Rogue One, who he just like he has it goes along with what they've kind of been talking about with people's connection to the Force. So I really like that aspect of it. He's like, I gave you that lightsaber. Like that lightsaber is not mine anymore. It's yours. It's also funny how Sabine just takes it back and then pulls out her blasters. Like, why wouldn't she just keep the lightsaber out?
Start
I
with
was
her.
like, just keep your lightsaber out. Take the lightsaber out. It's one of those powerful weapons. Take the lightsaber.
I still
out.
think she has a lot of training to do too, though,
Yeah.
because I think
But
she's
she
more
can
comfortable with
fight.
the blasters at this point.
But she can fight. Like that's like she knows how to fight. But yeah, I don't really. Again, I'm being kind of nitpicky. I don't really have a problem with it because she does use blasters primarily.
Yeah. Did you guys
but-
feel like the action in this? I felt it was like clunky, felt really small. Just
Yeah.
even his force pushes were like I don't know. It didn't
There was
really work
one
for
in
me.
particular.
Some of them
Not
look
just-
some of
Yeah.
them look better than others.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the one thing about this, I think this is what sets apart like the Disney shows, like when they do these limited series or these Disney live action shows on Disney Plus versus when you have like a movie budget. Because they're contained in the volume, obviously you can tell for a lot of these scenes, and it makes it seem like they have the volume for the whole background, and then they have everything contained within that set. Is what it seems like. Like they're not building out a whole set to make this happen. Right. So it did seem like you can see the vastness of the planet and stuff, but all the fight scenes are really, really contained in small areas throughout the show. There's never, like, we haven't seen any type of big battle scene really happen because there's no large set pieces for that to really happen on. Right, exactly. Unless they do that at the end. But it seems like this is a pure, like, this is taking place in the volume. This is taking place in the volume. At least that's what I would think. I'm not 100%
like, sure. They've got a couple of these turtle pods, and then everything else is in the volume for sure. But also, like, another missed opportunity for me here is, okay, so you have a chance now to show Ezra do something. I mean, he force pushes and like force trips. Like it would have been cool if he picks up some sand and he's able to like force blast away with sand or do basically like show something new. And that was a criticism Lucas had of Disney's whole enterprise here with Star Wars. Is like they're never doing anything new. And this would have been a really cool opportunity to show him doing something we haven't seen before with the Force.
Yeah. I would agree.
I know I'm being nitpicky, but
no, it's okay. I didn't have a problem with the force push. Like I actually thought this force
that was
push
good.
In particular was actually pretty good. But yeah, the combat felt like it just felt contained. It just felt contained. I get why it like I didn't really. It was still fine. It was still okay. This part in particular was fine, and then Shin comes in, and I also like how like I thought it was cool how we get like the back and forth between Baylan and Ahsoka, but when Shin comes in and then trying to find it, I was just on it where like Ezra is just like this. I thought this was cool.
Yeah.
Like
I thought when
Vader,
when Ezra was fighting her.
Kenobi.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And like when Ezra was fighting her, she is like that just shows you kind of how strong Ezra is without having a lightsaber versus Shin, who can't even hit him with a lightsaber. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was cool. When she singed his hair in the beginning.
Yeah. He was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
I forget what Ezra says right here, but this is not going to end well for you, or this is something like that. This is where, do you guys have anything else to say about that?
No, I mean, this fight was cool right here, I thought.
This was cool. I thought this fight was cool. I thought the lightsaber fight was cool between them. Like this is a good shot right here. Just like
he's so awesome.
He's so awesome, and he's just like so calm the whole time. You know what I mean? It's just like he is not concerned whatsoever or fearful of anything really. He's just a badass. But Ahsoka is too at the same time. You know what? Like this is the fight between those two characters is a good battle to see. Like that's a good matchup, to be honest. From what little we know about Baylan, it's still like a really good matchup. Then Huyang comes in here and does this. Whee!
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Using the flares.
Yep. And then he walks away. Right?
Yeah.
He's like,
even just like the body.
Right, see you later.
The expressions, like I don't understand what he's thinking or what his motive is.
That's got to be intentional, right?
Oh
yeah, I would think so. There's gonna be some sort of a twist. I think.
We gotta get something. It's been like 7 episodes now.
I had interpreted this part as like he wanted to, but then like maybe he heard another call from whatever is calling him, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go this way.
Yep. Rick Artemis is in the house. Wee doggy. Brick made a video, and that's what he said at the start of the video. It was very, very entertaining. Love it. What is up, Brick? Thanks for being here, bro. Yep. So he walks away, and then we get this part. I'm trying to get here where they get fully surrounded. Well, I didn't notice this helmet at first. It actually looks pretty cool with the blue helmet.
That's cool. And there's another one with like a gray chest plate. So, like I like all the mix and match colors they have.
Yep. This is where this was the moment I was referring to when it was like this is those Star Wars moments that they just throw into shows when they are fully surrounded in a life or death situation, surrounded by stormtroopers, 2 ships worth, right? Was it 2 or 3 ships worth of stormtroopers, and Shin, and Ezra's like, we can talk. Like this was like a Rebels moment put right into live action. And I'm like, this is serious. This is like really serious right now. There's nothing to like, what this is when I say like I chuckle at some of the things Ezra does, and it's just like his character is just like in this show is just like makes me chuckle sometimes because this is just like it's just a then she's like fire, and then
and they go
but
flying.
then
My problem with that though is that like levity is great, but you need levity when the surrounding moments are heavy, and levity doesn't alleviate anything when it's all light.
Yeah.
Like the humor in Guardians works because the actors play the serious moments seriously and with some gravity and drama to them. But nothing has been like that this whole episode. So him being like goofy Aladdin doesn't really, because it does feel like lighthearted, like he's having fun, like Aladdin, doesn't he?
Yeah.
yeah that's kind of remind me of that.
But like, so when Han is like, "We're good, we're fine here. How about you?" And stupid conversation anyway. His next thing is Luke, and it becomes very serious again.
Yeah.
So that's why those moments
They're just
work.
in the moments. They're in those specific. It fits the moment that they're talking. Like they're saying.
The
Like
humor
that. This
can
one
work
just
it.
didn't fit for me.
No.
Also, it's like he's like, "Let's talk," and then Ahsoka flies in here, and she's like, "Fire!" Nobody fires. That's standing behind them. Literally nobody. Look at all the troopers standing behind them right now that could literally shoot right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Like a
They
John
could
Wick scene
shoot
or something.
They could shoot Sabine and Ezra right in the back right here. Literally, they could run up and just shoot him right in the back, and nobody does anything. So it's just like, it's not. I guess like it's not a huge deal, but it's kind of just like, if you look at how contained this space is right here, they're surrounded by troopers. All these troopers go flying, and what do these other troopers behind them do? They're just like, look at them back there.
You're like, oh my god, that's
And
a
now they all
Jedi.
just start. Now they all just start shooting, and no no blaster shots. Like so look at these guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get right here, and watch when they start getting shot at. Look at these guys right here still. Pulls out a lightsaber, and then look right here. Look at the blaster shot goes this way across the screen, like not even close. Like where are those shots coming from? They're going like they're going sideways.
I know.
They're going sideways. So like it was just like right now, Ahsoka could literally be shot in the back by one of those stormtroopers that was standing right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit like for me. And then where did all these troopers go? Like where are they all? These ones back here are already dead. They're already dead.
Because
I didn't even notice that.
The
They're already dead back here.
Ricochet, yeah.
Ricochet.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They're
turtle
already dead
turtle's
in the
gone.
back.
Yeah.
Nobody
is
went
crazy.
that way. They're already dead in the back.
Turtle shanked him.
So this is probably just something that like they didn't really think about, and it was just like the drama of the scene. They're all surrounded, but like they could have just died at any point.
Yeah. And it's so easy to say like, oh, you guys are nitpicking, but the problem is like all of this stuff in succession creates like no stakes or drama for any character.
And this has happened in many shows before this too, and I think that's why we're extra nitpicky because of all these like mistakes or holes or whatever you want to call them. Like it's happened so often in Star Wars, and you can only overlook so much, and then it just becomes like this thing that's in the back of your head, and it just takes you out of it, And I think a lot of things happen in this episode where, again, it was okay, but compared to what we've seen prior, a lot of things took me out of the episode.
Yes. Yeah.
The conversations, the action, and some of it, and the Balin stuff, that might pay off, so that's fine. But in the moment, I'm just like, well, what's he doing? Like, I'm so confused. But like all that stuff together was just kind of a weird episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
X-Men Supreme says Ahsoka was using force deflect, and then the troopers in the back ended up catching their own
There you
blaster
go.
bolts.
She used force dirty look too. That's that like
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Matt Plan says, I still wanted the Night Troopers to be more menacing and effective. Last episode gave me an Apocalypse Now vibe. They were scary looking. That's a really good point. They were like scary looking. It seemed like they were going to be like a formidable foe, good enemy, and then they returned. Yeah, they returned to form. That's a really good way to put it. They're true stormtroopers. Is how
That
they
was
act.
my exact thought. Like seeing them when
Now
they
they're
were
dead
coming
back
off, I'm
here.
like, okay, now let's see, because knowing that these are going to be the troopers more than likely that are going to be resurrected in the main galaxy, let's make them menacing. Like, what if it's more than one blaster bolt? Right? What's that, Brick? Like more than one blaster bolt, or like they can only be killed if they're cut with a lightsaber, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and again, this isn't so much a criticism. I realized it was kind of like my own hope, but I had the same thing Mad Planet said, which was like, here they are. Let's see how menacing they are, so we can kind of get a preview of, how much shit the New Republic is going to be in when Thrawn gets back to this new galaxy.
Yeah.
So I just think it was a missed opportunity.
It almost felt like they could have been like Death Troopers. You know, when we saw Death Troopers, because we're so used to Stormtroopers just being the clowns of the Empire, basically. But then, like, you saw the Death Troopers, and you were like, oh my gosh, like those things are awesome. Like, you almost thought like it would be something like that. They're throwing in a new wrinkle, a new type of trooper, but you know, maybe not.
It was just superficial. Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah. And I realized we had nothing that was going to indicate that, except other than the fact that these are all resurrected with Night Sister magic. So, like, maybe they...
If it is.
Yeah,
if it truly is.
We don't
they
know.
could just be literally called Night Troopers because
They
that's
got
the
red
name
tape.
that they made them.
Yeah,
That's the name that they made them. But they're like the red tape is like, the same color as the Night Sisters, so they're just calling them the Night Troopers. But who knows? It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I guess I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure we'll end up learning more about it. This
even if
action
it is
scene wasn't.
just-
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was gonna say, even if it is just us like wishing they were more, again, it's another example of missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's not
So
necessarily
easy.
a bad thing. It's just
No,
if they would have
just-
done like cool undead stormtroopers that were resurrected by Night Sister magic, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
But
or
if they didn't do it, then I guess they didn't do it. But
imagine if they just kept getting up, like they took a blaster shot to the head, and then one gets up behind Ezra again, and he's undead, and they just can't put him down. Like, I don't know, that'd been awesome.
yeah, some cool stuff like that.
Game of Thrones, right? Night King.
Yes.
So, like, they actually die, but then a Night
Yeah.
Sister comes, we see,
cool.
and then resurrects all of them, right? And then they all leave after the battle's done.
We
Like,
could see something like that potentially.
Yeah.
Like we could see.
That'd been
Hopefully,
dope.
next episode we see maybe. So we'll talk about it, kind of what we think might happen. But
Yeah.
maybe we see some Night Sisters actually doing something like combat related. I feel like that would be pretty cool. Mad Planet says, "Are they really resurrected troopers?" We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Don't know.
Theory.
We don't know. This was like so. Actually, like I thought this was cool. This actually had like good action. I didn't really have a problem with the action, so to speak. Like it looked, like it actually still looked pretty good. What was happening? Like Ezra fighting was. I guess we get this. Trying not to go ahead too far. Like when Ezra starts fighting, I thought it looked pretty good too. You know what I mean? I can't figure out where it is. But anyways, so I wasn't really mad about like the action part. Like this, I thought this stuff was cool. This when he force pushes, then he picks up didn't want a blaster, but then picks up a blaster and takes a couple of them out.
That's cool. I also like how they're showing the drone. Like, so we have a real world explanation as to how they can see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that was cool.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about that? The action scene.
No, other than it's just interesting. I think Mike made a point earlier of when this all ends, which is what I think what you're getting to. I think they're leaving the window or the door open for a possible redemption of Shin.
Yeah, I think so too.
You
I
know?
think so too. We're gonna
Shin
talk.
Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll
Shin
talk.
ran. Shin
We're
ran.
gonna talk about that
was good.
that point in a second.
Can you imagine?
Shin Skywalker.
Skywalker. What?
Oh,
You're a
please
Palpatine.
no. Yeah. That's her full on redemption. She's Rey's sister from Palpatine,
Yeah.
or from Palpatine's son.
Yeah. The defective glue.
Yeah. So let me get this conversation. I just want to touch on this real quick between Thrawn and Morgan Elsbeth, where he's like, we have something they don't, time, which again, we've been talking about this whole episode. Apparently the only person who literally cares about the time of what the situation is Thrawn, because everybody else is like, I just want to, Sabine, I just want to enjoy that you're alive. I don't really care about, we're literally in a time crunch and we are in a different galaxy and we may not be able to make it back home. And Thrawn's like, we have the advantage, time. So basically he's right.
Yeah.
Because now they can just leave the planet and he doesn't really care what happens to them because there's no way to get off world in his mind.
And Morgan is like a device to get him to talk about what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to Dr. Evil her the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with her character, how much they, add back or how much they
just
have
hangs
her
around.
ever. Yeah. She's kind of like I don't really know, I guess.
Like a PA, like a personal assistant.
Like
Yeah.
that's why I feel like we're gonna end up seeing more of the Night Sister stuff. Like I want to see her do some cool shit because we know she can fight.
Yeah.
Well, like when she fought Ahsoka, you know what
That was
I mean?
awesome.
Yeah,
she
that was
great.
really cool. So like I want to see her fight again.
I feel like she's been really sidelined this whole season.
Yeah,
dude.
she has.
Like she's
She
been
has.
sort of I don't know. They haven't really used her in the way she should have been used.
No, just
Yeah.
a plot device.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see if like that ends up changing, but there's your drone that we just saw. And then then we get this part. So we're talking about when Ahsoka's basically like, give me your weapon, I can help you. These guys just run.
But how about this? Like, oh, you know what? Just turn around and shoot them.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, what?
So this is you guys kind of Shin's redemption arc, but this is like to me there was just the moment that has like she's hesitating. Like there's a moment of hesitation. She thought about it in my mind of like, if I do this and go with them, like, what does that mean for me? And then she just runs.
Awkwardly runs away. Can we see the awkward run?
Yep.
That's what I was waiting. Yeah, the arms up while running. Yeah, like.
She's still got her lightsaber
You going?
ignited. Oh. Yep, there she goes.
Run away!
Yeah.
All right, so that part, let me just say, I am going to nitpick this part. So 2 episodes ago, she does the same thing to Sabine, but what do we get? Cool ninja smoke, right?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's right.
This one, she just awkward. That's why I say it felt awkward. Like, she just turns and, like, awkwardly runs away. It's like, before, at least, we got some ninja smoke, or, like, she... I don't know, tries to force push people away, and like I don't know. But yeah, we got ninja smoke, no ninja smoke. Did they blow the budget already? What are we doing here?
I'm trying to see like where her lightsaber went. But anyways, yeah, she just like kind of runs away and but to me this was like a moment of hesitation. She's
Opening
do
the door.
you guys think she's going to turn? Do you think she's going to die? What do you think with Shin? Any predictions?
I hope she doesn't turn. It'd just be
Yeah.
cheap and silly.
You don't think she
It'll
joins?
happen.
You don't think she joins Ahsoka and Sabine and?
Be too fast. And I don't know. I wouldn't like it. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know.
50,
Also, could we
50.
see that? Could we see that develop in the next episode where maybe Thrawn wants her to do something where she's really just like this is the last straw for her, and she just like turns and goes with Sabine. I personally think like it would be kind of cool if she joined up with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool to see. Ahsoka train Sabine and Shin Hati would be pretty cool in my mind. If that was something that were to happen, but I don't know. Because anytime I ever talk about something like that, it never happens.
Yeah.
Like this is probably going to be like, this is her character. Who knows what's going to happen with her character, but usually something like that doesn't really happen. But I wouldn't have a problem with it if she ended up turning, or if she did, but she went her own separate way, like to leave the door open.
Sure.
We
I think
know
what
that
I don't
Thrawn-
get is
Go ahead.
what I don't get is at the beginning of the series, she was like hell bent on being evil and doing all this stuff, killing people and whatnot. But we really haven't seen a reason for her to turn. I think that's why it might be cheap, because there's what's causing her to possibly think twice, or there just hasn't been anything to me to make her character think, why am I doing this? Or I don't know. I don't think she should just turn to turn, So it's just I don't see the development of her turning, but I could see them doing that just to do it and shake things up a bit.
Well, maybe she feels betrayed by her master, and then she's going to run off to Thrawn and realize that Thrawn doesn't give a crap about her either. So maybe
Yeah, he
that
doesn't.
will
He said that.
exactly. So maybe that will solidify her decision to
I
turn.
think
then-
Brick's
then
got
where
a
does
good
she go?
point too.
Yeah, he does.
in the comments. I think
Yeah.
I could see that too, where she's actually more evil, and I could see either one of them flipping. To be honest, I don't really know what side they're on, but she does seem to be the one that's more set in her ways and stubborn. But
The
it was
only-
odd to see her hesitate.
Well, the only thing that makes me think that she's not going to be evil is she's been hesitating. She's been questioning, like we talked about last week. More and more, she's been questioning Balin's intentions of like, do you miss the order? When you ask questions like that, it makes me seem like she's
a woman. She wants to communicate with him. He doesn't say a damn thing.
That's true.
He's
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
true.
"Oh,
That is true. That is
talking,
But
talking
it's also,
riddles.
It's also kind of like she's like, why would you want to just stay on this desolate planet when we could go either be with them, or like she's just questioning his intentions. But then again, we don't know his intentions and what he's trying to do.
We don't know anything.
So
Neither
it's like
does she.
it's just a huge mysterious element. She's way left out of loop because he's like talking in code basically to her. or it's just like we've been talking about. They're trying to keep it from us so they can do a big reveal of what Balin's after, and then maybe we'll have more of an understanding. But it sounds
Anybody
like,
have the? Sorry to
No, go ahead,
sidebar,
go.
but does anybody have the time for the finale, the runtime?
I'm not sure what it is.
No.
Better be long though.
Yeah. I like her. I just want to comment on the actress's posture here because, like, I do love that she's been doing. Because she doesn't. I looked her up. She doesn't stand like that. Like I think that she's been doing a good job. Like the physicality of this character.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you look at the actress when she's
Besides the
not
running.
in, yeah. When you look at the actress when she's not in her outfit and with her hair like this, like she does a really good job for the character that she portrays based on how she looks like as a normal person. I feel like you
Yeah,
wouldn't really think that she would play the part. I feel like I guess. I thought she played the character. Like I mean, the character's awesome. She's a really cool character. Like I said, like I'm kind of like more intrigued mostly for the show about. It's crazy to say that I'm more intrigued about what's happening with Shin and Balin than I am like Ahsoka, than Ezra and Sabine. Like if you would ask me if that was ever going to be the case of being like, more interested in what other characters are doing, I probably wouldn't have said that. But like, I want to know what happens with them more so than this kind of goes back to what we were talking about as far as the show goes is like, there's never a point where you're like, oh man, they're in danger. Because Sabine's not going to die. Ezra and Ahsoka definitely aren't going to die. It's just not going to happen. So, that like all the fight scenes are just literally there for like action. There's not really a threat, and they don't also do they don't do it any service by not really making it feel like it's threatening in any way. They're not going to die, but we don't know. You're always more intrigued by kind of what you don't know, and Shin and Balin are kind of like what's going to be their bigger part of the story and what's going to be the payoff there with that is more kind of intriguing for me. But any other thoughts on Shinhati?
Yeah, I think there's less of a chance she's Balin's daughter at this point. I know some people were thinking that maybe.
I thought that was a possibility.
Yeah, I did.
Because remember, he's like, you grew up outside. You grew up after. What do you say? Like you didn't grow up in the temple, or like you grew up after the purge, or something like that, or I forget exactly what he says to her.
Yeah, and he says, "I trained you, not like I raised you." So then in this episode, I'm like, I'm not feeling the father-daughter.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
And why would he just have her? Why would he just? Yeah. Hopefully, we get more backstory on that at some point. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see. Like, I don't know. I will say that I felt like this reunion between Ahsoka and Ezra was more genuine and heartfelt than Sabine and Ezra. I thought that like this portrayed like actual, like the way that Ahsoka acted when she hugged Ezra and like the, how she greeted him was like just much more aligned with what I thought Sabine and Ezra were going to be like. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I just felt like this was had a more emotional weight to it and was more natural compared to when Ezra and Sabine met.
100%.
Absolutely.
And it took like 5 seconds for it to happen. You know what I mean? I was like, this is nice. They haven't seen each other.
And there had to be like several phrases in this 5 seconds to make any of this make sense. It was like, I thought you said she was dead. You thought I was dead? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Right.
It was just super.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like right here. It was like.
Yep. X-Men Supreme says maybe Shin was just taken aback at the fact that her enemy offered an open hand while her master just dipped.
Yeah.
It could be.
Seriously. Brick says now if Thrawn leaves them there, I could see them both teaming up with Ahsoka. Balin and Shin?
I think so. I think that's what he's talking about.
I don't. Yeah.
I think
we can talk about this.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about it, but that was kind of that was it, right? That was the end.
Yeah.
Chip comes down. That's the end. So an episode that basically we got all these no-T, right? Just all joining up around him.
Yeah.
It's like a Return of the Jedi ending.
Let's say encourage the cowardly dog who is back there as well.
Return of the Jedi ending. All right, let me
transition. Yeah, right. He hangs out in the thing the whole time.
Yeah, inside the pod. Yeah, she's calling him a coward last episode. He's like, "You damn right, I'm a coward. I'm gonna hang out in here."
How bad does that pod smell? How could she have taken a nap in there? It's got some disgusting dog and turtles and stuff.
Oh, I don't know what would be worse, that or the inside mouth of a Purgle. You know what I mean? Like it's like a toss up.
That Purgle breath.
Maybe a tauntaun still smells worse, but
Yeah,
on the
probably.
inside, yeah.
Do you guys have any predictions for the finale? I feel like this is so
Oh.
hard to predict.
I have less predictions now than I did last week.
Yeah.
You know,
Which I guess is like not a bad thing.
No, it's
I
not
feel like
bad.
it's a good thing to like that we don't really know what's going to happen. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'll say I feel like they backed themselves into a corner as to where like now I want them to do less than I was hoping they were going to do, because for them to be able to really do what I was hoping I would see, it's going to be so crammed and ineffective.
Yeah.
So like less is definitely more in this final episode for me.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah,
Close off some of
I'm
the
just
main points.
hoping it's going to make sense. It's solid like those, the middle of the season has been. I wouldn't mind seeing more. So I'm kind of with Mike on this one, right? I hope there's some sort of like conclusion, but not like a full on everything's like set in stone type. I want there to be a little bit of loose ends just so we can build on something next season. But I do want there to be some sort of conclusion to it. So it'll be interesting. I think I think Thrawn will still be around. I think they definitely have to utilize a villain like that longer than just 3 episodes. So I think he'll still be around. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Balin, Shin. I think that's honestly, like you said, that's where I'm looking to see what happens the most. I think everything else is kind of safe, but
Yeah, it's a good way
curious
to
to see what happens
Yeah.
with that.
put it. Yeah, and if they explore that next episode.
Yeah, I what I would like to see happen. I think I do think absolutely we're going to get Thrawn entering back into the original galaxy. I could see them doing maybe more like an Empire Strikes Back ending, something that's a little more somber, like oh shit, like bad guys actually kind of won here. So maybe Thrawn shows up and kind of deals him a big blow like immediately upon arriving. I don't know if we'll see all of that. I do think we're going to get a bit of a somber ending. At least that's what I would like to see, I should say. But yeah, I think Balin has no intention of leaving that planet at all. So I think he's going to go off and do whatever he's doing. I hope we get to see it. I think that's one of the biggest questions that we're left with in this show, especially to the point we're at now. He has been so vague about everything and just kind of speaking in riddles, which is why I think a lot of the time Shin is looking at him and has the same look on the face that I do watching, which is like, what? Like, and he's like, go down there and become the new powerful this, and this. And she's just like, oh, okay, right? And just kind of follows. Yeah, so I hope we get to see something with Balin, but I wouldn't be surprised to leave us hanging. I do think we're going to get some type of cliffhanger this season, because the worst case scenario, maybe what they chose to do is because of the writer strikes. Maybe they weren't sure if they're going to get season 2 in time, so they maybe will leave it so it could roll right into the Thrawn movie. That is, I think, supposed to be coming out here in the relatively near future.
That ain't gonna come out till like 2028.
I know.
2027.
But that was just my hope, right? But
Yeah.
so I think we're gonna get some resolution. I think that big one for me, I think the easy prediction is Thrawn's gonna end up back in the original galaxy.
Do you think though that he gets there this episode, or do you think that's how it ends? Like he beats them and then he's on his way back to
I think he'll
the
be back.
galaxy? You think
Yeah, I
he'll be
think-
back and start to
yeah.
do some shit?
The other thing too is like the one scene that we haven't seen yet in the show is that's shown in the trailer is Thrawn walking into that starship,
True.
like into the like opening area of the like the main area of the starship
point.
where he's with like that golden ring or whatever. So like that was from the trailer, and that's like, unless they're not even putting it in the show, but I'm sure we're gonna see him walking into that and then them leaving to go back. But that's interesting. Like I guess we're kind of bold of showing that because we still have yet to see it. But we see Thrawn go back. We see Thrawn go back.
I think so.
We see that. I think, do we all agree that that's going to happen potentially? You
Yeah.
guys think maybe we don't see him fully go back? Graham, were you leaning maybe towards like, oh, they show him about to go back?
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think we see
I
him
wasn't
back.
sure how they would end
It's
it
gonna be
with
one
like
of the two.
a big
Yeah.
cliffhanger of him going back or already back.
Yeah.
And
It'll
Yep.
be one of the two.
I think
sure.
we see him going back. I also think that. How do you guys think like Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka get back? Do you think they go the Purgle route again? How are they getting back?
I think they do a Millennium Falcon and just park themselves on the side of either the ring or Thrawn's ship, or
think so?
too close for scanners and just
Yeah.
ride that bitch
Light
back.
speed skipping.
Because the other thing still, The other interesting thing is like we still have no. I mean, maybe it didn't matter when Chopper put that beacon on the ship. You know what I mean? Like, is there a chance Hera and Chopper show up and we get them all in the Ghost to end the season? You know, we talked about that last week too. Yeah.
Maybe the beacon was just a device to get them to the planet in the other galaxy.
Good point.
You know,
Because like I think it'd be cool to
But-
see like them all back on the Ghost together and like bring Zeb in there. Like you
Oh,
got
yeah.
it.
Really cool.
Like end it on that. Like have Hera help them and like get them all together so we know like now they're united. This is what's coming from the show, or this is what's going to end up happening. That would be cool. Maybe we see it, maybe we don't. I think. Do we think there's a post-credit scene?
Probably.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to predict that we see the Balin stuff as a potential post-credits. And we see kind of Cage like what you were describing as we see Balin doing something, and that's going to be I don't know if we see much of Balin in the finale. I could see them holding off on that, doing it as a post-credits thing, showing a brief thing of what he might be off doing, and have everybody just continually speculate about that until they show the next progression of the story. That'd be a
super
great.
cool.
That would be a great way to do it. Is put him in the post credits and get everything else done without him for the finale. Because he's like
would be cool.
obviously going to be doing something else that's not necessarily like main part of the show. You know what I mean? He's going to be doing something else. So that's. I'm going to go with that as my bold prediction.
I like it.
And there's an opportunity to recast him if, like, say something horrible happens to him, or he gets disfigured and he's half machine, half man, or something like that. You know, there's a way that he could come back as a new actor, or maybe behind a mask or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, anything can happen
cool.
to him. But you're right, that would be cool as like an end credit scene.
Have him walking in like Cage, like what you said. Like now we have this. Like he's obviously after some type of power. Like you have to hint at what's going on with that. You have to give us some type of answer. Don't just not show anything at this point. Like we got to get some type of answer. Do we think anybody dies next episode?
Yes, but I don't know who.
I say
I
yeah.
just think there's got to be something. We got all these characters. Somebody's got to go. Could be Morgan.
The
Could
only
be.
Yeah,
Morgan
Morgan's the only one.
Morgan maybe,
Or Shin.
or Shin maybe.
I can still see Balin going.
Or
too,
Balin,
though,
maybe.
so
I'll be bold and just say Ezra.
it's a bold take.
Ahsoka's done. They're gonna call them. They're gonna call it season 2 Sabine.
Old strategy con.
With how lucky
pays
Sabine's been getting, maybe she'll run out of luck.
Do you guys think like we get a big battle scene next episode?
I think so. You got to bring the ghost in somehow.
Yeah.
They can't all just be sitting around on it, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. A space battle. Yeah.
Yeah, like
See
we get
that?
some
Maybe
maybe
just-
big action scene. Like we got to get something big for the finale. I don't know what that's gonna be.
And that's why I think it says something that we're all sitting here kind of like, don't know, because, I think this episode really encapsulates the main theme we're kind of talking about, which was this episode was okay, right? Or at least maybe bordering on pretty good. But there's just so many questions that we're left with to the point where we're not even really sure what the hell is going to happen in the finale, which I don't know if it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it really needs to be either.
Yeah, like
it's
I'm
interesting.
thinking back on Mando. Like I don't think there was a season of Mando where I think it like the second to last episode led up to like, okay, now there's going to be the big fight. Yeah, there were surprises, right? Like Luke showed up, but we knew that there was going to be this face off, but here I have we don't even know if our main characters are going to see each other.
Yeah.
It's like so weird, right?
Yeah. And I think we know like Thrawn's going back. The movie, this Filoni movie, which they should just call Heir to the Empire. I don't know what they're waiting for. They should just call it Heir to the Empire. But like the Filoni movie's probably going to make Thrawn the big bad and have the universe culminate, the Mandoverse and all these shows culminate on that. Like that would be the smart move, them taking advantage of using Thrawn. So I do think like the finale, I don't know if it's going to be something really, really huge that we see, something really massively groundbreaking, like seeing Luke For
Yeah.
example, obviously is like a big deal. I don't know. It's weird because I can't. Can you guys think of something that might be like a big finale moment that you'd be like super surprised about?
I think Luke is going to show up. I'm not even
At some
saying
point,
like I
at
really
some
want Luke
at
to.
some point in the show, you mean?
I think he's going to show up in the finale. But
Oh, dude, if that happens, I would be psyched.
I would never turn down a Luke, cameo. But at the same time, the show is already overstuffed with
It's packed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't really need that.
I don't think it's very likely that you'll see anybody new, because I just think there's just so much, like you guys said, there's just so much to do yet. And you only got one episode. I'd put seeing Luke at pretty low percentage, probably 7.5%.
Oh
7.5.
7.5.
I like 7.5.
Let's be 7.4. Yeah.
You're telling me there's a chance, I just want to say something quick about this movie that everyone is expecting because they sort of announced it. Somebody on YouTube, and I forget who it was, said it might not be like a movie in the way you think. It might be a theatrical release like the way Episode 5 was. And I think that would actually be a smarter thing. Because as much as I love to see a movie, it's like a movie following a bunch of TV shows that's like going to be super deep for anyone who hasn't seen this stuff. It's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one. So I think it'd be like a Disney Plus streaming event and then like a theatrical event as well. Sure. I don't think it's going to be a huge marquee movie. That's just, I agree with whomever said that on YouTube.
Sure. I'd be okay with either.
To me,
yeah, give me the big movie or give me that. That's cool. But
I'm
like,
just
make
glad
it available
Filoni's gonna.
for more
I'm just glad Filoni's in charge of that movie.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly. Like I'm
he'll
fine
do
with
it. He'll
it.
do right by he'll do right by it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I feel like everybody's got to have confidence in Filoni at this point with how this show has been going. Like if he's gonna make a movie, and hopefully he continues to be highly, highly involved moving forward with all Star Wars content. Like just give the man creative.
Yeah.
Like just make him the Triple H of the Triple H of Star Wars.
Give him the keys.
Yeah.
Give him the keys.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You gotta consult with him at this point when it comes to everything. Like don't do what you did with the sequels and let just random people get involved in stuff or
Make him the Favreau of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
X-Man Supreme says, I think they're going to end the season with Thrawn and friends leaving the system while Team Ahsoka are stuck on the planet because they want to give us a cliffhanger. I could see that potentially happening. I could see them staying and Thrawn going back.
There's not much I wouldn't rule out right now. Like, again, to our point. Like, you can come up with pretty much anything that sounds at least a little plausible. And it's like, that might happen because we really don't know where this is going.
And then, like, where's Thrawn? He's going to go back. Where's he going to go? Like, what planet's he going to go to? Where's his home base going to be? Is the New Republic going to find out about it in the next episode? Like, there's a lot of questions and a lot of things they could get into. I guess it's just going to be a matter of how much they get into it.
I kind of secretly, I've had that same thought, Steve. I was like, I wonder where he's going to go to, and I kind of hope it's Dathomir.
That would be
the
dope.
whole, like, because of the whole Night Sister connection, like they have to go.
That
to Dathomir.
would be dope.
Because that's where they could raise if those are troopers or Night Sisters in those coffins like that. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Like
cool.
if that's what's in the coffins, like if it's he can build, if they go the route of him using the Night Sisters to build an army and use those coffins to like go to Dathomir and channel the Night Sisters energy to create an army for Thrawn, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That
but
would
see
be
again,
like,
anything that's plausible, right?
yes.
Like,
and then again, we could be next week we could be sitting here and saying missed opportunity.
None of this happened. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that would be really cool because that's like you want to make Thrawn and his enemies, or I guess like his allies, feel like a actual threat to Ahsoka and all the obviously like Rebels characters.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that would be really cool.
Here's left field, right? And if not Dathomir, they go to Zepho, right? And then Cal Kestis shows up, and that's how they end the season. Boom, there you go.
Cal Kestis is working with Thrawn.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Cal Kestis is working with Thrawn.
Well, I think Mike, I think you had said like someone had channeled, or I'm not channeled, had translated some of the old writing in something about Zepho, right? Isn't that what you said? So like maybe
It was in Fallen Order. The same like the wall behind Thrawn was like the same Fallen Order font and stuff like that.
Or actually, in that case, I think it'd be Dathomir again. But
I think Dathomir would be it. Dathomir is actually kind of like I feel like a safe bet for where they'd go. But given that there's Night Sisters and like that would be cool.
That's a really good call.
and you bring Dathomir like into live action and stuff. Like,
and like
yeah,
you know, in the books, this isn't giving anything away, but like he has this whole secret like hidden fleet and stuff. So you're right. Like he's not just going to go to some planet just to bombarding it.
Yeah,
I
he
think
knows
he
where
is
he's gonna
going
go.
to
Coruscant or
prepare.
whatever,
Yeah. Like right, like Coruscant. That would be smart. Just go right to Coruscant. Put it all there. You don't even have to aim. The whole planet's a city.
Yep.
Wherever you shoot, you'll hit something. So yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
like in Mando they talk about like it makes even more sense when you think about them talking about like Project Necromancer.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah, that's
that
true.
name hints at that level of like that's what he's going to end up doing with the Night Sisters.
That would be cool if that's a reference to that and not.
It's gotta
Palpatine.
be. It's gotta be.
Well, I always
yeah.
took it as
oh yeah,
Palpatine.
yeah. You took it
Yeah.
as like Palpatine, but I would think like yeah, I would like hopefully like they bring Thrawn maybe as a part of that, or maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong, but yeah.
Maybe Night Sister magic was part of the cloning thing. Who
Yeah.
knows? Could go anywhere, like you said.
Yeah, because like we're kind of operating within the same time period, right? So like is Thrawn, they're talking about the return of Thrawn and like whether or not that's like is that going to play into Palpatine too? You know what I mean? Like Thrawn knew Palpatine. Like there's gonna be like potential for like some of that stuff to happen. I don't know. We'll see. Lots of fun speculation, and probably like 10% of that will happen. Maybe
Well, that'd be a high percentage.
Probably let down.
7.5%. Like
Yeah,
Grant said.
7.4%.
Yeah.
Or
Okay. Any closing thoughts, guys, on the episode, on the predictions? Anything else you guys want to say here?
More Hera.
Excited to see.
More Hera.
I want Sabine to make
man.
one right choice, and everyone's shocked.
Yeah, right.
Like Sabine's
I'm
"Oh,
with you. I want her to make one right choice as well.
We got to get something between like Ezra needs to find out what's going on.
Yep.
Or okay, a right choice or a sorry. Like, how about
Yeah,
you say
right.
sorry for once? God, you
Sure.
entitled jerk. Like,
You're breaking his heart.
Yeah.
yeah, seriously, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I still pre-ordered you and everything, but
Pre-ordered you. I still
Cancel.
pre-ordered you.
I'll lose my NRD. I
I'll
don't
never.
care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I want you guys to kind of plug what you're doing here, Cage. I know you don't really do anything, but I just want to say, I know you don't really do anything YouTube related or anything social media related for obviously like the hobby and stuff, but I just want to say thanks again for being here, man. I'm glad you decided to come back. I hope you had a good time. And
I did. I had a really good time, and I know I'm not immediately into Hot Toys. I do have the Clone Wars Palpatine coming sometime next year, but I'm curious.
spoken like a true collector, because
yeah.
it could be 2 years from then. You can be hopeful.
Probably, I will. But I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard of. I know there's a lot of different places you can get these Hot Toys from. Does anyone here have like a recommendation for like a site that like if a new collector like me wanted to maybe get into the trade, like where do you think I would go?
Wow,
Sneaker,
Cage.
do you have any recommendations?
No,
I do have a recommendation for
This place
you.
called Toys Wonderland.
This place called Toys Wonderland. Shop at your own risk. Yes, I will do a quick plug. Thank you, Cage, for that beautiful segue. Is there anywhere you can think to go? Yes, I'll do a quick plug. Check out undergroundfigures.net if you guys haven't. Great place to get figures. Mike, you've been getting some stuff from them, man. I know.
Oh yeah.
You live so close to them, dude. It's like I wish I could get stuff that quick. You live like a few hours from them, but that's awesome. But yeah, if you haven't checked them out, you guys can always hit me up if you have questions about them. Helps the channel out. Check out Underground Figures. Cage, when you order your next 10 hot toys, you can go there too.
Theoretically, sure.
By the way, Cage, this subject has been brought up on many a channel. It's like, well, how many figures does it take to be a collector? And oftentimes, and I think the best answer is one.
Yeah.
One on pre-order. So you can no longer say you're not a Hot Toys collector.
All right, that's fair. I feel like I'm part of the community now.
You are.
I needed my channel membership to the Jedi Knights Watch, and I needed to order.
Appreciate you.
Order that, yeah.
Appreciate all three of you.
Yeah, and if you haven't, you should go ahead and go get that channel membership, people.
That's right.
You get some cool benefits, but I'll let
Yep.
I'll let Jedi plug his own.
Brian Wong is in the house, Mr. Module Case himself. What is up, dude? Thank you so much for being here. Check it out. Mics are on the way.
I was going to
Hopefully
ask
soon.
Brian. We'll talk later, Brian. But yes,
We'll talk
hopefully
later.
Mine are on the way.
Yeah, Brian, thanks for your catch us at the tail end here, but thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate it. When I eventually, if I hopefully end up being like partnered on YouTube, I'm gonna make Cage buy. I'm gonna do like the highest amount valued tier, which is what, like $400. I'm gonna make Cage buy it.
I'll do it 1 month.
I'm gonna call it the Cage tier.
I will do it.
With his face, just as his face as the
Please.
badge.
That'd be great.
Graham, what do you got going on? You're doing some stuff. You posted some stuff. What's happening on the channel?
Yeah, about a week ago, I did the Moducase, the 655 assembly with the new packaging, new instructions. Built it so I could see for myself, how easy it was, and I really did enjoy the new instructions. So I did a video on that. Did the Peacemaker review, so that's out. But then today, I actually dropped another video for Maju Space, and it was more of just me kind of going through the instructions, the new layout, the new packaging. Talking about what I really liked about it, and I do think that's one thing that Maju Space can now kind of cross off its list of things that maybe held them back a little bit from their customers. The only feedback since Brian's on here that I'll give is I kind of mentioned it, but then some people in the comments said, like, I think having those instructions in hand in the box would be even more helpful too. I think they can get it from the website, but this day and age, some people don't have enough printers, or then you got to be in front of the computer. I think it would just be even easier, but I think they're on to something really special with what they're doing. So the next thing though, Brian, is just kind of keep working on cutting down that lead time, because that's the biggest thing that I hear about from people on my channel is just the lead time. They can't wait. We're all impatient, and I know Brian's doing everything he can to appease everybody and help everybody, because that's the kind of guy he is. So plug for my channel, for Maju Space, game changers when it comes to display. You just can't beat it. So outside of that, we do Wolfpack Wednesdays with Evil Sneaker, Brick Artemis, and then Dilo the Collector. Super fun show every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern. But yeah, if the way you guys can support me is just coming on, watching my videos, comment, and say hi. If you want to take that extra step and be a channel member, we have perks for that too. I do want to do that End Sabers giveaway. I want a couple more members before I run that thing, but yeah. End Sabers NeoPixel giveaway will be sometime in the near future. So
Cage wants it.
That's awesome.
I sure as fuck do.
Is that an Ahsoka saber? Is that an Ahsoka saber?
it's Ahsoka SE, so it doesn't have the bend, but it's an Ahsoka blade or
Gotcha.
a hilt. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I can add it to my collection.
there you go.
Well, thank you for sharing. Well said, Graham. Yes, Maju cases, game changer, 100%. Mike, I'll be very excited for you to get yours.
Oh, I'm excited too.
Also, Brian, I just want to say I got my brackets in the mail today. While you're here, thank you, sir. Got my brackets
shout
in the
out
mail
to Brian.
for my back half shelf. So thank you. Expedited shipping from Singapore. Appreciate that.
Nice.
Yes. So great customer service from Maju Space as well. Brian's a great guy, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have about Maju Space and getting cases. So with that being said, Mike, do you have anything that I know you can kind of plug your usual stuff? You have anything else going on? You can plug your usual stuff.
Yeah, no, just the usual stuff. So, Hot Toys Hotline, 7 p.m. Thursday nights. It's always a lot of fun over there. Connor and the guys are great. And then on Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern, on with Shane, One Six Figure Focus, another great group of guys. So I feel very lucky to be on with those guys. You guys, I mean, it's just an awesome community, Cage, I'm sure, as you're seeing as you kind of get more into this. So that's it, man. Just happy to be on here again with you guys.
You're a busy boy.
Yeah, right?
Busy boy.
Yep.
Yes. No, happy to have you on, man. Thanks for being here for every episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Really happy to have you on. Graham, thanks for coming back. I know you were out last week, so thank you for coming back. Cage, thank you for coming back as well. Hope you had a good time, man. On my channel, I did an interview with Shane from One Six Figure Focus earlier today. I did a Visions episode, so you guys can go check that out on his channel. I had a lot of fun doing that. That was really, really cool doing that. I need to do another collector tour episode at some point in the near future. I'm working that out. We'll see how I feel. going into Monday. Tomorrow will be the big
Yep.
factor
When you
in what
wake up.
happens with my weekend, essentially. Because I
Yep.
feel okay right now, but we'll see how I feel in the morning. Otherwise, yeah, Wolfpack Wednesdays. Check us out there on Graham's channel, Jedi Knights Watch.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, and then Friday we'll be back live to talk about the finale episode. We'll see kind of what everybody's plans are. I'm sure I'll touch base with you guys and see what the plan is for that episode, but I'm sure that'll be a really fun episode to talk about. And then the show after Ahsoka will be over.
Yeah.
So yeah. Boo. But
Boo.
yeah. So it'll be over, and then I got to think of some. Then I got to think of some other stuff that I'm gonna end up doing. So, yeah. With that being said, guys, chat. Thank you so much for being here as always, and always appreciate your comments and letting us know kind of your thoughts. A lot of fun chatting with you guys as always. Panel, love you guys. We will see you all on the. Ooh, is that a kiss? See you all on the next one.
It was. You want to catch it?